chat up on their live chat. Who's on here? Let's see. There we go. Let some people get in here. We just had 6 and we got 3 now.
Alright, that's cool.
Oh, is this on? Whoa, 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 whoa. What the hell did I just do?
You were going to send a super chat X out of that. X.
Where's the X at?
Right there. Yeah.
Damn. Oh, no, that's this camera here.
Yeah.
I was about to say, this thing's you should see the difference in my laptop compared to that, bro. That's crispy. Like, dude, that's like looking at HD to a box TV back in the 80s.
I gotcha.
Guys, I don't even want to introduce you yet. Give it. Hold on. All right. Hey, thanks for the thumbs down, weirdo. It'll be like 2 minutes.
Some people just can't resist the thumbs down.
Oh no, man! I got trolls, man. Hold on, Adam. Slow your roll. We don't give it time, huh? I guess we started about it. 1 more minute. 1 more minute. Countdown, dude. Countdown, dude.
If you roll up here, you can see the clock. Just FYI.
Yeah. I just didn't know what time we started.
That's alright. Well,
Rob, message retracted already. Who's Rob? Wendy, what's up, Wendy? What's up, Stack Stevenson? ML Jiggerman, what up, what up? I hear you, Adam, I hear you. Hey, Handsome Truth. Whenever you actually are a man, like whenever puberty strikes for you, come to Pittsburgh and come find out. I'll be your handler, little weirdo. Now, everybody say goodbye to Handsome. Dude, this dude's a massive troll, this dude.
do what you gotta do.
Bro, he comes in, he always talking about, you know what this dude thinks? He thinks I get paid by people to come on here and talk about people. he thinks the government pays me.
I'm from the government because I got a tie on.
Yeah, this is my handler, you clown. Beat it. Alright, guys. This is Joe right here, attorney at law in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Reached out to me about 2 days ago, and he has a channel. We're gonna put his channel at the end of this. What's up, Lady B? What's up, Radical? Hey, bro, you want to say your channel right now? I have my mom's drop it.
What's up? Yeah, my channel is the Joe Palmetto Law Show. Joe Palmetto Law Show. If you just put that in the YouTube search bar, it'll come up. I also got a website, joepalmettolaw.com.
Mods, if you can, if any mod gets a second, just screenshot, or just copy and paste that text. Or if you want to go pull up his channel, and then drop his link in there. His attorney. So, you know what I mean? He basically, his channel's, well, I'll let him tell you about that. Right now, we're about to role play, alright? We're about to do some role play. Lady B, don't get your panties in a bunch, Lady B. We're gonna role play, and we're gonna, I'm gonna basically speak on a real case that I went through in the past, alright? And it was a crime that I didn't do, one I got acquitted for, but I kind of told you a little bit about it before. So I'm gonna just tell, like, on first time meeting my lawyer, and then you know, just try to help someone learn from that how to go about it. Then we're gonna talk about attorney-client privilege, expunging your record, which is gonna be different in every state, but I know I got a lot of PA dudes in here. Habeas corpus, suppression hearings, stuff like that. Handsome Truth. Hey guys, if Handsome Truth comes in here running his mouth, keep putting him in timeout like he's a little kid. Keep giving him a little spanking. Put him in timeout every time he comes in running his mouth. And my bad, Lady B. My bad. Agent K, what's up? And also, if anyone wants to ask them questions at the end, he also did civil before. Civil injury.
You can ask me anything, yeah. Personal injury, criminal defense, employment law. I've done landlord, tenant, whole bunch of stuff. Mostly criminal and personal injury, but any legal question, I'd do my best. I may not have an answer, but if you want to shoot it my way, we can roll.
Definitely. And what we'll do is we'll do that kind of at the end. Even though I got the laptop right here, I didn't think I was gonna be able to see you guys, but I can actually see the chat. We'll do that at the end. We got 13 in here right now. Damn, dude, I must be shadow banned again. Will someone share this out? 13 people, man. With this already too. This how you know that you got haters on board.
Yeah, I can see that.
You know any good lawyers in Washington?
Mm-hmm.
Do you? Do you really?
I work in Washington.
State.
Oh, Washington State.
Yeah, she's in Washington State.
Yeah, I can't help you. Who, Morgan?
Look at the clown.
Whoever. Okay.
Straight weird. He's a straight weirdo. Thanks, Joe. Come on, Iggy's not much. Thank you, Radical.
You're welcome, Radical. Anytime.
What's up, Big Mike? Mike Noon, what's up, baby? What's up, Stag? What's up? All right, let's do it. All right, you want to start like we said?
Sure, yeah, nice.
Right.
Yeah, let me know what's going on.
All right, right now, I just got arrested. All right, I'm all pissed off. I'm sitting on processing the shoe. You know what I mean? I ain't ate for real meal yet. So I'm mad. I got a lawyer. Let's say I had a couple dollars put up. Called my lawyer. I just got called out into the hallway in the county jail. So I'm coming out my reds. I'm not in a good mood. It's the first time I'm about to meet my lawyer, alright? And this is the case. Mind you, this is a real case that I actually went through. I'm not like making nothing up. I have a real affidavit I can prove on this. This is a real, matter of fact, look me up on the internet. You can look up yourself. But, oh damn, I was about to say something. Hold on. Alright, I forget. So that's just how I'm gonna go about it. I'm gonna tell a real case, and then it's just gonna be like when we first meet your lawyer and how to film out and stuff like that, which I'll talk about at the end. The best that I know, because I've been done dirty by lawyers more than once, but I've also had some that rumbled for me. Guys, if trolls get out of hand, time them out. They look like they're coming in tonight. Mike Newman, Rhonda, what's up? Bigfoot Stack. All right, we getting started. Melvin Belly. What's up, man? How you doing, man?
Good.
What's your
I'm
name
good.
again,
Joe Palmetto.
Yeah.
Attorney Joe Palmetto.
I know your name. Right? All right, so Joe, man. Look, they got me hemmed up on some bullshit, man. I can't. All right, here's the deal, bro. Honestly, God, I was selling dope. I'm out of a dope house. I'm in the dope house, and basically I'm just doing my daily thing, and I've been staying in this particular home for about 2 weeks. And in the investigation, it says they was investigating me for 12 days in and out of this house. Now, in and out of this house, they actually witnessed it that I'm making sales. They actually documented in the affidavit that I'm making sales. But for some reason, even though they see me selling dope, they think that I actually robbed somebody for $800, which was a female and 2 males. So I, by myself, beat up 2 dudes and a girl and took $800 off them, which I did not do that. I did not do that. Now, here's how it went. Okay, the house I'm in is on a tip of an alleyway in Lawrenceville. Going down into Garfield, and there's a K2 market right there. It's a rainy day, I got my hood up, I walked out. And I was actually going into the K2 to sell some a bundle. I'm on my way there, and on the cameras, you can see me because there's cameras in all alleyways. They had video evidence of this. I'm going by this alleyway. Its alleyway's going this way, and its alleyway's going this way towards Friendship Park. You know where that's up?
Yeah,
by Lawrenceville,
yeah.
Garfield, Friendship Park. All
Yeah.
right, right there. I'm coming down. And off the camera now, down this alley, 2 dudes and a female get beat up. Beat, bop, 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 boop, right? And then I don't see nothing, didn't even know nothing about this. I go in, I get a pack of cigarettes, and I did honestly make a sale, but they don't know about this. It didn't come up, they didn't see me do that. And I come out, and then I'm walking back down like this, packing my cigarettes. I'm on camera again. They say they got footage of all of it. If they got footage of all of it, I don't see how they don't know I didn't do it, because you would never see me turn that alley. You would see me go into the K2 and then come back out. And also I used the card. So it could actually document that I was actually documented when they finally did it, that I swiped my card from there. Now when I'm walking back, my hoodie's off, and you can see me clear as day on this camera. Now for sure it was me. They didn't edit this footage video.
Yeah.
And I walked back in the house. The day they hit me, they get me coming out of the house. As I'm walking out of the house, they're like, yeah, freeze, Mr. So-and-so, you're wanted for robbery. I'm like, what? And I tried to stuff all this heroin in the car. It wasn't a bunch. I had 72 bags on me. And so now I get caught with this. Now I got a dope case. You know what I mean? I am on probation. I know I'm not getting bond. I'm detained. But the robbery it's going to send me upstairs on max. You know, and you know how that bit is all rough up there. I'm going to be up there with violent offenders. And meanwhile, I didn't even do this. And I'm just trying to get dealt with it ASAP.
Gotcha. Let me ask you, what's your do you know your prior record score?
I'm a refel. I have 2.
You're a refel.
I have a possession with intent to deliver on my record, a delivery on my record. I sold to an undercover cop, and I have a long juvenile record.
Okay, you know that make you look at a pretty stiff jail sentence, especially prison sentence.
What I'm looking for? What's it looking like? like what, bro?
I gotta look at. So normally I would have the guidelines out here in front of me, and I could tell you exactly what it is. Okay, so our FEL is gonna put you in. So there's 2 things that they look at with the guidelines, right? There's the offense gravity score and the prior record score. So when you look at the sentencing matrix, all right, the matrix is gonna take you one direction with the offense gravity score and another direction with the prior record score. Okay, actually prior record score goes this way, but your FEL, you're the highest. You're the highest. So you're looking at prison time guaranteed. Now I'd have to look at each individual charge to tell you exactly what it is, but I can tell you off the top of my head that robbery is almost certainly going to be stiffer, and we're talking state prison time, than the possession with intent to deliver. How much did you have on you when they caught you?
I had 72 bags, so it's gonna come back in the crime lab probably around almost 3 grams, maybe around 2.5 grams. Let me ask you this: if I can beat this robbery somehow, because I didn't do the robbery, I'm not pleading guilty. I'm fighting it to the end. There's no way I'm pleading guilty. Something I didn't do. But the obviously heroin it was in my possession. I'm guilty. What would I be looking at with a refel as a possession with intent to deliver, and a delivery charge, and facility manufacturing over phone? What's that called? Facilitative over phone?
Yeah.
That's another felony. They're all felonies on my record. And then this new possession, if we got the trying to get rehab, bro.
That's gonna be no. No. You're definitely without me looking at well, I can say I had a client who was an RFEL, and he had 5 or 6 grams possession with intent to deliver, and if I remember correctly, he was looking at 5 to 10. And the DA, we got an offer on that case that was less than that. I don't want to talk about where it went from there, but without me looking, without looking, I'm saying you're probably the 2 to 4, 3 to 6, 4 to 8 type range. If you beat the robbery, it's going to be even higher. Okay, so we beat that robbery on top of that possession with intent to deliver. You're looking at some decent time. Okay, if we beat the robbery though, perhaps we can get you a below guidelines deal. Okay, on your sentencing. Right? Okay. So that's sort of that'd be the angle that I'm coming at here, is to try to beat the robbery. Then they just have you on the PWID. Then we can get a deal below the guidelines.
Yeah, definitely. Let me ask you this: it's 2012 at the time. It's 2019. Ain't the mandatory minimum for heroin charges gone?
Gone.
Mandatory minimum's gone.
Yes, sir.
Real quick, explain what the mandatory minimum was. What's a mandatory minimum on a charge?
Well, here's what I can tell you. I wasn't actually practicing at this time, but a mandatory minimum would be if you are charged with this crime, the judge cannot give you a sentence less than whatever it says in the statute. So the way it worked was certain crimes, right? Possession with intent to deliver, 3 grams, okay? If you were convicted of it or did a guilty plea, the judge would have to give you 3 years minimum. He can't go below that. The law forbids it. That's gone. Now, a judge can just look at what's called the guidelines. I can explain those in more detail. But there's three types of there's three levels in the guidelines, right? You have your standard range, which is where most cases get sentenced. Then you have aggravated, which is a stiffer sentence, and then you have mitigated, which is a lower sentence. If we make a deal, I should be able to get you the mitigated, maybe even something lower than that. But before, back in, would you said 2012 or 2013?
Yeah.
The attorneys, they couldn't make that type of deal.
Right,
Okay,
right.
It wasn't, yeah.
You were definitely going to get charged. Anything over, I think it was 2 grams back then. It was 2 grams. So if you got caught with more than 2 grams of heroin, mandatory 2.5 to 5 is what it was. Right. Mandatory minimum. Like, you couldn't get nothing less, no matter what. You just knew what you was going to go. You'd still sit 1.5 years to go to trial, though. Now, so I sat 16 months for that crime, and I ended up beating it in trial after twice going there when they finally pulled the video footage out and they seen I didn't go down the alley. 16 months later. And because of that, the heroin she gave me a love shot for and just sent me to rehab when I could have got a state sentence just for that alone. Does this look dark? I thought my phone like went black. It's not the lighting.
No, it looks good. It looks good.
Oh yeah, we're good. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's what happened there. What do you explain? You want to explain the guidelines?
Well, yeah, and that's how the guidelines works now. Like I was saying, you got a standard sentence, a mitigated sentence, sentencing range, and an aggravated range. In that situation, did they apply the mandatory to you or no?
No, because she kind of felt bad for me that I sat that long for this robbery, which, dude, in the transcripts from the prelim, the victims came in and tried to say, so who'd I have? Who'd I have at that part? Oh, this is Lee Rothman's case. This is the one I did with Rothman. Okay. So Rothman gets me in the tank back there. They pull me back there. They take me back there. I mean, instead of sitting on that wall. And he goes, listen, stay out here. I don't want you to come out yet. I'm gonna make them explain what you look like. Man, they said a black male, a light-skinned black male with a goatee, and at this time, my bad. I have the goatee. The black male had a clean-shaved face. And this is in my transcripts. And he's 6'2". And then I come out, and they make him explain. They make him point me at. Now they're going like this, pointing at me. And that was in the transcripts, too. So it was beat. Like, it was beat, but she got a beat right there.
I just got to say right there, that tells you how, number one, either human memory is very fallible and wrong, okay? Or they didn't remember it all, but they see you they see you there, maybe in shackles. Oh yeah, that's the guy. These people got robbed, so they want to blame somebody, you know? And so either their memory was wrong or they were just trying to get anybody convicted. It just shows you how important it is to fight your case and do a thorough job, because you got accused of something you didn't do. It's crazy.
Right.
Happens all the time.
Right.
Crazy.
And because I was on probation, in Pennsylvania, if you're on probation and you catch a charge, you're not going home. Like, there's a slim chance. If you catch a violent charge, you're not going home. If you're on probation for drugs and you catch another drug charge, you're most likely not. Like me, I never got to go home. But I seen some dudes get like house arrest. It's called a modify your detainer to house arrest, or modified to a 3-court house, and that's basically like petty crime, petty criminals, like maybe stealing, like stuff like that. But if you got probation and you get in cuffs, don't get a bond. You automatically get a detainer slapped on you for every probation you have. So if you got probation with this judge and this judge and this judge, you have 3 detainers, and that you're stuck like Chuck, basically.
He's right, and a lot of clients, they don't know that, so they'll be in the jail, and when I come and see them, they'll say, "Why am I in here?" Most clients do know that. Okay, they know because they were on probation. But I've had clients before who didn't know. And so it's good that you explain it. I mean, if you're on probation, you get hit with a serious charge. Any felony, that detainer's going on you, you're almost certainly not getting out. Now, sometimes if a case is still pending, like they haven't had the preliminary hearing, let me push it back on. They haven't had the preliminary hearing, sometimes they won't issue the detainer. But usually, I mean, every case is a little different. But it stinks.
I've seen that people get over, Right.
So even if your judge gave you bond or made your bond 0 or release on your own reconnaissance, you'd be held on that detainer.
Yeah.
So.
All right.
Yeah.
You want to ask from that one, from this particular?
Well, because so have you been, in that situation? Did your attorney do a good job? You were happy with your attorney?
He's
good.
They weren't budging because of the violence. Like, it took me 2 trials to see the judge. The first one's just a paper date, that 180 days. I went over there and got postponed. Like, what? I told him I want a judge trial. I don't want no George. Just give me a judge. So they made me come back again. And then, yeah, he told me, he said, we got this. We'll be all right. But I still was like, it's been long, man.
Yeah.
16 months down there.
Yeah.
16 months was a bid down there.
And sometimes it can be tough for the attorney to get video evidence or something like that. The DA may drag their feet on it. You put requests in. We might have to drag them before the judge in order to get that type of evidence supposed to be turned over in discovery. But you're not going to get discovery as a matter of course for a couple of months anyway.
Yeah.
They're not even required to turn it
wow.
over until after the formal arraignment. And then if they don't have it, the judge will give them more and more time. So it's probably something that happens.
Mine takes at least 6 months to get a discovery.
Right. But
I don't know if I can ask you this, so if I can't, just give me the...
Okay.
Can you answer, in your time, have you seen corruption inside Allegheny County Courthouse? Or can we not? Is that too touchy?
It's... I mean, that's a little bit touchy.
It's hard.
Here's what I'll say. I've been practicing for about 3 years doing criminal defense, okay? And when I was in law school, I worked at conflict counsel in the public defender's office, okay? I haven't seen anything that I would define as corruption, okay? I mean, I've seen some people, I've seen some things happen where, it shouldn't have gone down that way for a certain client, okay? At least in my opinion.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying whether it exists or it doesn't exist. I'm just telling you, from my perspective, I haven't seen it.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
You could go with your thing now.
Okay. So, on my show, I like to go into a little bit about because I want to be a better lawyer, and so I like to talk to people and find out, the good experiences they have with a lawyer, the bad experiences they had with a lawyer. You said your lawyer that time around was pretty good. Have you had public defender before?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Can you tell them what a public defender is?
Yeah. You want me to tell them?
Yeah.
Public pretender. I mean, a public defender. My bad. Public defenders. If you don't got no money, then you get a public defender. In a lot of my cases, some of my cases I just didn't have the money for real. But sometimes it was just, why pay this lawyer? I'm going to prison and I'm guilty. And that was like my last time around. I'm just going to use this public pretender. I mean, that time I really didn't mean to. Hey, that time
I've heard it. I didn't
do it that time.
It's cool.
Swear I didn't, bro.
I've heard that.
But I need that thing to get up. All right. So last time I just rocked out with him, and it was a bad idea. Look, they did me so dirty. If Joe wants to get into that, we'll get into that. But I have to say, the public defender in Chicago, Illinois, was a beast. If any of my people are from Chicago in here, tell them, Chicago, Illinois public defenders rumble for you like a paid attorney. I'm telling you, they rumble. They want to get, I don't care if you're guilty, they want to get you out of there. Also, court-appointed lawyer, I had an episode with, and I had attorney in jail. I had every attorney there is. I had every attorney there. Paid attorney, public defender, court-appointed, and a jail lawyer. Like a dude representing me in prison, basically. All he did was write a motion for me.
So you had good public defenders and bad public defenders.
Yeah, well, I never had a good one in Allegheny County. I never had a good one, but I've had some that basically did a job, get me the plea that we agreed to.
You thought, okay.
Yeah, except for that last time. I want to tell you, it's the only time that ever happened.
Okay.
Never even seen no one do that, get that done to them.
All right. Well, tell them what happened. If you leave name outs for them, leave names out.
I already said his name. Okay.
No, not on here. You told me out there.
No, you was like, just... wait, no.
Yeah,
you said tell him public defender. You're right,
yeah.
All right, so, I will.
Yeah, what happened?
I'll leave him out. All right, so I got a public defender, and in my last case that I talked about on 23 in lockdown, all right? I'm on parole for F3 criminal trespassing. Pettiest charge I ever had in my life. That's what my DOC number's for. Damn, that shit just took a camera. That shit took a picture of me. It just flashed. So, unless it was a flash from here.
I don't know.
But, so I go to that review hearing and I get caught with the fake pee. I run out of the courthouse. I get away. I get caught 2 months later, all right? Now, when I'm down the county, I get a public defender visit like 9 months in. 9 months in. I don't even know what's going on. About 9 months in, I get this dude come, like, kind of new. I kind of was a little scared of him because he's a little sketchy. And we start talking. This is that, this, that, and the third. That they want to give you SIP. I said, no, I don't want to take. SIP was what I end up getting. And that's like the state intermediate punishment program. That's why I went to Quahana. Worse, don't ever take it. Anyone from PA, don't ever take it. So I'm telling him, like, no, I don't want SIP. And I said, give me a 2 to 4, 2.5 to 5 years. I'll take it right now. Now, that's doing 2 years over 4 months. So I'm like, give me the 2 years. Well, 4 to 24 months. And he says, okay. Now I go to trial, all right? When I go to trial, dude comes down to the bullpen before I go upstairs to see my judge. And he says, sign this plea for 2.5 to 5 years, all right? I said, you talk to the judge about SIP? She's cool with it? I knew my judge wasn't going to be cool with that I didn't want it. He's like, she's fine. She's on board. She's good to go. This is exactly what this dude said to me, all right? This is what she's got. This, be careful. I'm telling you, you got to feel someone out, man. You got to know. You almost got to become on a friendly level with a lawyer. And, of course, the money's going to talk the most. If you got the money, they're going to do at least what they're saying. But this dude's a public defender. He's telling me my judge's on board with it. I go upstairs. I already signed a plea deal. Like, you have to answer yes, yes, no, no. Are you under the influence right now? Do you understand everything? You know what I mean, that plea. And I check yes, I sign it. I go upstairs. My judge rips the plea up in front of me. My lawyer ain't in the courtroom. He's nowhere to be found. I'm like, yo, where's my lawyer at? She said, we denied your plea. I'm throwing it out. I said, the DA, I didn't know the judge could do that when I signed it. And they had already agreed to it. So then I got okey doked. She wanted me to take SIP. I said no. And then from there, I told him to give me a pre-sentence investigation because I thought that would make it worse for me. I wanted a higher sentence because the SIP stuff was ridiculous. I was going to end up doing more time anyway, like I did. But I got screwed, man. I went back to jail. And then I hired conflict counsel, what he was in, to get this little punk out of there and fire him. Now they don't want to fire him. They're telling me I can't fire him. Oh, I went through all kind of stuff. That's why I ended up getting a court-appointed lawyer. Well, I caught this dude down the county, and I questioned him, and let's first forget about that.
I just want to say it's, so, private attorney or public defender, some people aren't going to be able to afford a public defender. Thing with the public defender's office is they are generally, they get a bad rap. I know a lot of them guys, they're good lawyers. They care, they believe in what they're doing. A lot of times they're just overworked and they're too busy and they can't handle, the caseload that they have. But some of them down there are just excellent lawyers. But the reason I wanted you to tell that is because sometimes, like if you make a plea deal, okay, any case you can do trial or you can do a plea deal. If you make a plea deal, a judge has to approve it, okay? And it sounds like what happened in your case, Iggy, is the judge, even if the lawyers come to that agreement, the judge can see it and say no, blah, blah, blah. They can change their mind on the spot too. I've seen that happen. I've seen some weird stuff happen where judges get the plea deals and they'll even agree to it in chambers and then get out there, start questioning everybody and change their mind. So but I just wanted to highlight what happened there with you is like, the judge exercised that power in your case, and that doesn't happen that often, but it did.
Yeah, I didn't know that until then, man. Like that's how I found out. I found it the hard way for sure.
How about have you had good experience with your private attorneys that you've hired?
Yeah. I except for dude, the one dude's name I told you, JK, the dude you said, said you know. Yeah, he sold me out, but yeah, that ain't nothing I even want to get into that one. But yeah, everyone besides that, man.
You talked about feeling a lawyer out. How do you do that?
Yeah, I honestly, it's not easy. It's intuition and how you're communicating, your chemistry. And then the best way to go about getting a lawyer is talking to people. Well, the best way to find out what lawyers might have did something like, it's not like it's a big like it happens all the time. There's just certain names that, like in Allegheny County, there's just certain names that when you go to jail, like a lawyer walk on the block, and I've seen people come to the door like, yo, you piece of you sold me out. But it's always these same couple lawyers, and I'm not gonna put their names out there, but man, it's hard. It ain't easy to fill someone out. But just know if you got that money, you're good. Like you're good. They're gonna take care of you the best way they can, and they're not gonna talk about what you talk about.
And I think too, it's one of the things is like if you're, thing with a paid attorney, a private attorney is like you're paying them for their time, right? So they can put more time into your case, okay? Like a public defender's probably got 100 cases. You get one of these paid attorneys, and probably the more you pay them, okay, the more time that they can put into your case, something like that. Would you say, I get like a lot of clients come to me, and the big, and I try to do this is they want me to, especially when they're in jail, they want me to come see them, and talk to them as often as possible. Is that something that's important to you? Is that how you feel them out, maybe, if they're coming down and seeing you a lot?
Definitely.
Okay.
If they're doing what you're, good look on remind me of that.
Yeah.
If you need stuff done, and I'm not saying you call your lawyer like, hey man, we go pick this money off my girl and then drop it off my grandma's, or can you put money on my books? Like, I've had lawyers cool like that, but you don't just hit them with that type of, but like if you really need something from the courthouse, or if you need a petition put on, a motion put in, or you say that something came up and you come down and speak, when can you come? Or if they don't answer your phone, that's another sign. If they're not answering you from the jail, then that's a bad sign. But if they are and they're coming down, you rock with that. You got a good one. That's definitely, and it's that visit out there. Like you get to go out in the hall.
Yeah.
So
I know some attorneys, and I try my guys that are in jail, or my guys or girls, like I try to see them as much as possible. Some attorneys go down once a week. They go down once a week, so they're seeing their people once a week. They go to county jail, etc., etc. Sometimes it can be harder to see someone when they're in a state facility, because they're farther away, etc. Plus, a lot of weird stuff is going on with the mail and like mailing shit that people, if you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But even ACJ or the state facilities, I mean, it's tough. It's tough.
Yeah. I was just telling about them earlier today. I made a video about. Have you heard about this? I told you my boy's at Fayette, Fayette, right?
Yeah.
So he calls me every day, right? Dude, they're doing that. They banned the tobacco from Pennsylvania prisons.
Mm-hmm.
Every single prison's about to go on a protest to get the tobacco back. They're calling it a peaceful protest. Now listen, he says to me yesterday, I said, bro, I need something to show them.
Yeah.
He said, Philly.com. We seen it on Philly.com, Daily News. They got it in the newspaper from their inquiry. Boom, Google it. Comes right up. They show our block up Camp Hill. They show inmates all locked in their cells, which it's not happening yet, but that's just how they took the picture.
Yeah.
Our block's like the very first block you go to when you get to Camp Hill. It's hell on earth. And I seen it. It said peaceful protest inmates against tobacco ban. Like I seen it, but I didn't read it. So I got all this other stuff going on. And I told you I got into a fight last night, so that really sidetracked me from everything.
Yeah.
And so I get up today and I got it on my tab. It's on the tab, like a new tab.
Yeah.
It's up there. And when I did this video, I showed them Operation Popeye when the government admitting they controlled the weather. We're gonna have to get Joe into this. We're gonna have to get Joe. We're gonna have to wake Joe up. No, bro, it's on the internet. They admit they back in Vietnam they flooded the trails with planes. They created rain. I swear to God, bro.
They can create rain. I have no doubt.
Hurricanes, tornadoes, everything. They create all of them, bro. I swear. Bro, I'll show you this. I'll show you this one day. It's on.
Just show me, yeah. I don't.
Proof.
Right.
So I typed it in that Google bar. Now I cannot find this peaceful protest on there. Ain't that weird?
It is.
Like I cannot find this article on there. But my boy told me they was doing it. He's like, yeah, it's statewide. The COs know about it. Everybody knows about it. And it was pretty crazy. I forget what kind of got me into that.
I was asking.
Oh, we was talking about the K2. I was telling them how the K2 was coming
Yeah.
in and how they shut. Did you remember when every prison got shut down?
Yeah. Yep.
This is why they're banning tobacco. I guarantee it.
Gotcha.
I guarantee it because you roll up.
Mhm.
So anything being smoked, they don't know who smoked K2 because people just falling over, hitting their head. Some people just smoking a cigarette. They get the cigarettes out, nothing can be smoked.
Gotcha.
Now if you're smoking something,
Gotcha.
it's contraband.
Absolutely. What is there anything else that, like what were some of the things, you know, I know you talked about some specific instances, but like were there some lawyers you had who did things that you didn't like, you know, or you didn't think was helpful to the case? Like maybe somebody didn't contact you enough. How about, did you ever write to your attorneys? Did you write them letters?
You know what? Actually, yeah. Actually, this is my last bid. Would be the best I can. I was gonna say John again, dude. That sold me out sold me out. Yeah, I didn't say it.
Okay,
yeah.
that's all right. No.
But yeah, forget. I don't want to talk about that, dude. But from prison, when I got kicked out of SIP, you know what SIP is, all that.
Yeah.
bull
State
crap.
intermediate punishment.
Yeah, that nutty. That's why I didn't want to take that plea.
Yeah.
So they plea me. They basically forced me to take it. Like I'm telling you, she was forcing me in a way. Like she was.
Yeah.
They would not let me take nothing else.
Mhm.
And then I was gonna get my head cracked if I didn't take SIP. She was threatening to send. It's all like you literally can look at this.
It's all in the transcript.
Yeah, like she's threatening to give me the max on every crime and resentence me on multiple probations I had. I had multiple probations.
Yeah.
So the SIP was like a love shot. So I'm like, finally, the counsel chick is like, man, take that, bite that down. And you know, I was trying to get home quicker now to her. So I take it, and bro, when I got kicked out of there, they will not. Now I'm in prison in limbo, like I'm in a county.
Yeah.
I don't know what I don't know what I'm being sentenced to, but I'm upstate prison. That's how they do it. That's how they do it.
Yeah.
They kick you out of SIP. They throw me down Western, down the wall. Got changed from house to the Western. Now I'm just sitting there. I got a counselor's like, yo, what's up with the SIP? Like, when am I going to court? I want to start my sentence. I want to know how much time I'm doing.
Yeah.
We can't tell you nothing. We can't tell you nothing. So what I start doing is I had the attorney in jail write a motion for me, sent it to the judge. Then I start writing lawyers. I started with the PD that originally sold me out, because that's the only name I had. You know, I remember. So I writing PD's office. Yeah, I never got back to him. No one ever answered me. April 18th, 2017 is when they finally put me in. I was 3 years in already.
Did you write any private attorneys? Did you write any privates?
I didn't have the money.
Okay.
No, I had the money.
Gotcha. Yeah. It can get tough. I can say when I worked at the PD's office, they get so many letters. You know, they get literally like hundreds of letters per day.
Yeah, I bet that is hard.
So, you know, sometimes you hire a private attorney, they're going to give you the attention. You know, you hire them, like if I get a letter, I read the letter. It's like my client, there's not a letter my clients have written that I haven't read. So,
right.
Yeah.
Right.
So, yep. But,
if you want to ask me anything about what you said you wanted to, ask me whatever you want to do.
But you know, so you were at the SCI Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I was up. So I went from the county to Western to Camp Hill to Cohana Boot Camp, Cohana to Housedale to Western.
Okay.
Western back to Camp Hill.
Yeah. Okay.
When I maxed out from Camp Hill's Hole.
Okay. Gotcha. When you were at did you have private attorneys at any of those SCIs or no?
No, didn't.
Okay.
No.
Okay. For purposes of you know my show, because what I'm trying to do is reach out to people. You know what? Well, I guess you sort of talked about, but like, is there something people can do to prepare before they're going to go into the ACJ or they're going to go into a county jail? What advice do you have for people before they end up in there?
Definitely, if you're on any drugs, get off everything, go to rehab. You're about to go to trial, about to go to sentencing. Don't go to drugs on jail. Don't go to jail on drugs. So, like, go get clean, start working out. You know what I mean? Get in shape. You want to be in shape in prison, because if you ain't in shape, you're almost like a target. Or counties, same thing. Get in shape best you can before sentencing, and prepare yourself mentally for getting used to nothing, living in a bathroom, like boredom. You gotta start teaching your mind how to do things with nothing. I mean, making a sock into a ball and just throwing it off the wall. Sometimes it gets you by 2 hours, and before you know it, handball, stuff like that in a cell would be fun. But mentally preparing to learn to accept. Acceptance is key in prison. When you can accept prison, you're gonna be all right. That's why I try to tell you guys about when the lights go out. If you can just accept living with no electricity, you're gonna be all right. Same way going to jail. Acceptance is key, and let your girl go before you even go in. Just let her go. Tell her go ahead, man. That's key. Unless she's a keeper.
What about, I've seen, so many people may not know this, like making phone calls from the county jail, okay? They record all those calls.
Yes.
There's literally somebody in the district attorney's office listening to, and I don't know exactly how they selected, but they just listen to these calls. They just listen to these calls.
They just listen to random guys?
I'm not exactly sure.
Them,
yeah,
right?
I don't think they get all of them, but anybody, I guess, if they have a suspicion that they might be giving up some information that they can use, et cetera, they're going to be listening. And they tell you whenever you pick up the phone, right? It says this call is being recorded, blah, blah, blah. So I just think that's a good message to get out there. I mean, if you end up in the ACJ, be careful about making your calls, who you talk to, et cetera.
Yeah, and there's key words. I've learned that in prison and the county jail. Like, just like the algorithm on YouTube, okay? A keyword sets off the algorithm, they ban you, shadow ban you, they toss your recommendation stuff. Well, on the phone calls, they got keywords like, if you say drug, it's going to start recording like that. Like, or it will send, it's always recording, but I mean, like, it'll send a notification to somebody, or it will make them come listen to it. And if they can get you, they can get you on phone calls 100%. Charge you, give you real charges from the street. If you're trying to smuggle drugs into the jail and you're on a phone call recorded doing that, they'll charge you right there. Look like I keep it. It's like slagging, but it is a little bit. See, huh?
Yeah, it might be lagging a little bit. I don't know why. I don't know.
How you guys looking? Am I lagging? We good? We're good. Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
Just here and there.
Okay. You got any questions for me?
Lady B, you're a nut, Lady B. She said, prepare yourself for prison by doing many butt cheek clenches. Lady B, prepare yourself for when I meet you by doing that. No, I'm playing, y'all. Everybody, I'm playing. Now, I got a good one for you. Hey, you ain't gonna like this question. Listen up. No, I'm playing. Okay, so listen. This is, I'm sure look, I know me personally, I always want to know what another man feels like about this situation, all right? And since we have an attorney here, guys, I just met this guy today. We just met. First time I met in my life. Swear to God, we don't know each other from a can of paint. He seen me on Lockdown 23-1, reached out to me, well, it's all love, it's Pittsburgh, you know what I mean? But I just don't know him, so this is like a question just out of there. Now, if you have an attorney, if you're an attorney, if you have a client that's working with cooperating, okay, how do you look at that? Like, do you respect someone that you know snitching to the cops? Like is there like a little bit of respect level with it? If not, it's fine. You know, I mean, or is it just like is it kind of like a guy you know you wouldn't want to deal with? Does it make you shy off? Like, if someone's snitching, does that make you not want to take that case?
I think there's some attorneys out there like that. Okay, if there's some attorneys that may not want to have or get a reputation like that. I would imagine. Okay, most of the stuff that I've dealt with, if it's that situation, is we're talking about like some mostly lower level type stuff. Regardless, to me, it's like, I mean, being a defense attorney is a weird position, okay? And whenever my client comes to me, like, we have, you got it written there, attorney-client privilege, okay? So everything's confidential, our communications, et cetera, et cetera. So, and I have a duty. What I tell people a lot from their attorney, because, people come in, they hire an attorney and like, I've had guys call me and be like, I want you to do this, or I want you to guarantee that I can win, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, dude, that's not my role. Like, the way I think the best way to look at the job is I create options for my client, okay? One of the options may be to go to trial. We may choose to go have a jury trial. We may choose to have a non-jury trial. We may choose to do a guilty plea, okay? We may choose to file motions. I'm there to explain to my client all of the options and then exercise those options, okay? And sometimes cooperation is one of those options. If somebody comes to me, if someone from the Commonwealth comes to me, I technically have a duty to let my client know that that's an option. I have to do that.
Yeah.
Okay, that's my job. Like, you know, an attorney in a lot of ways is just this vessel, right? We're just like this tool that is there for the client to use. Okay. So if that comes to me and I present it to my client and I just present it clean, cold, straight, and if they want to do it, they do it. I keep my personal feelings out of it.
Yeah,
and that's how I have to do it, Iggy. I mean, some of my clients, you know, so I don't have a judgment one way or another.
Yeah.
Okay. Some attorneys might not. I understand what happens on the streets, and you know, I'll explain that to my client too. I'll be like, you know, this and this. You may get a reputation. Somebody may know. Blah blah blah. And then the choice is theirs from there. So
yeah, okay. I got a good question actually about that. If you have a confidential informant on your case, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do they have to be in, like, say someone told on me, a confidential informant, do they have to put the name in my paperwork so I know who did it?
No.
They don't have to. Do you know that law, how it would work?
Yeah, I know a little bit of the law. So generally, you know, the Commonwealth, the state of Pennsylvania, right, the government, district attorney, law enforcement. I'm just going to refer to them as the Commonwealth. They want to protect their confidential informants, right? Because if they don't protect them, then they're not gonna. Then word's going to get out, okay, and they're not going to get any more confidential informants. So they want to protect them. There are circumstances in the law where a defense attorney, a defendant, can force that identity to be revealed or force that individual to testify at trial. Okay. Yeah. Sometimes the Commonwealth will need that confidential informant to testify at trial, but they're going to withhold the name of that witness up until right before trial. Okay. And every district attorney is a little bit different about when they will actually reveal that information. Now, if they're not giving it up and they don't think that they need it at trial, so the DA may believe that they can convict your client even without using the confidential informant. If that's the case, then the defense attorney has to show to the court why it is integral to the client's defense that they know that. I've filed motions like that. Okay. Asking the district attorney to reveal the identity of the confidential informant because I argue that it is crucial to my client's case. Like, I can't defend the case unless I know. Now, that if you file that motion, the judge is just going to decide that. Okay, it's not going to be a jury, blah, blah, blah. You may have some testimony. You may do something in chambers, okay? But depending on the case, a defense attorney can try to get that information.
Yeah. Yeah,
so,
yeah, I've seen both, which you just explained. Both
incidents. Yeah. So sometimes, though, the DA might be able to keep it confidential the whole time. And I'll be honest with you, my opinion, you know, judges tend to lean that way because, you know, they think if the name gets out there, then that person could be in danger, et cetera, which, you know, may be true.
Yeah,
true. So that's just giving it to you from a judge's perspective. You know, they're going to, so it's hard to get that info. But if you can prove, if you can say, well, Judge, this informant is the only person who can put my client there at this time, they need to testify, the judge may order it in your favor. But they do testify at trial. It happens often.
Have you ever seen, I heard this, now I didn't see this, I've heard this, that the confidential informant got to testify on dude behind a freaking screen, like they put a damn thing in front of him.
Yeah.
And so the defendant could never see who's behind it. Did you ever see anything like that?
I haven't seen that. I'm sure it happens.
You think
so, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Because like I just said, they're going to do everything to protect them. And, you know, again, you have to convince, it's your defense attorney's job to convince the judge that the identity of that person is integral to the defense as well. Okay. And so I can look at some cases, I can say, look, you know, my clients will, because, of course, you know, if you're accused of a crime and there's a confidential informant, you're going to want to know who it is, blah, blah, blah. I get that. I understand it. But some cases I look at, I'll be like, look, they don't need them. It's like, I can file this motion, but it ain't going to happen. There's case law out there on it. So, you know, I read the case law. But sometimes, I can come up with an argument. I can say, look, Judge, we need to know. So that's kind of how it works.
Definitely.
Yeah. So,
Hey, Rob, when we get done with this interview with me and him, we're going to take questions. So stay in here, and then I don't know what state you're in, but he'll try to help you the best he can. If you have any questions, I don't know, you didn't go to trial yet. You're just facing 3.5 to 7. All right, what's up, Valentine? What's up? Jeff George, Crazy Ginger, Lady B, Cindy, what's up? What's up? Crazy Wendy, Jeff George, Noble Force. Why, Noble Force? Why you keep giving trouble? You giving trouble in here? Hey guys, Lady B, if Noble Force talking crazy, just get rid of him. Noble Force, why you want to act stupid, bro? Learn something. Come on, grow up. We adults, man. Grow up. Are you a girl or guy? I don't even know. What's up, Jeff? What up, Outlook? What up, Crazy? I think Louisiana has different laws. They are actually under French law. I don't even know what that
he's
is.
right. It's a little different. Louisiana is like more of a civil statutory code, and the rest of the country is the English common law. That's a long explanation, but you're right, Jeff. The traditional Louisiana law is a little bit different than literally all the other states.
What is the French law? I don't even know what that is. Do you know what that is? No.
I do. That's a long explanation. I'll give you a quick and dirty. All right. There's basically in the world, most of the world, you have two types of law. You got civil law, the civil code, and the common law. The common law is just law made by judges. The civil code is law made by like the state legislature or Congress, right? Those are called statutes. So you have judge-made law and statutes. The United States is a mix of both, but our tradition is mostly common law, which comes from England. Jeff was right. In France, it is a long explanation. In France, it was mostly civil code. It goes back to the Napoleonic Code, where he rewrote all the laws so the judges didn't have as much freedom to do what they want. And that's the tradition Louisiana has. The rest of our country, it's more judge-made law. And then Louisiana, it's more like laws written by politicians.
Okay.
But the whole country is a combination.
Politicians, man. we're talking about that shit all the time.
Yeah.
On here. Yeah, a lot of these people are into the truther stuff,
Yeah.
But people want to know about prison, though, man. Yeah, thank you, Caleb, my man. When we do questions, now you're gonna have a choice. You can't. A lot of people seem like they want to ask questions. We're gonna do questions in a couple minutes. I'm gonna have them explain a couple things, especially you or whoever's facing trial. But we're gonna do it. You can call into my phone, or you can type it in on here. Now, attorney-client privilege, we already explained. That's just basically he'll never ever. He'll take whatever you tell him to the grave, and if he didn't, he would lose his license. So he has to. Like, you don't got a choice there. Mm-hmm. We were just talking about my felony expungement. So, can you explain anything about that? I'm not sure how we can do that. But go ahead.
Yeah. So, every state is different. First of all, I know some of you are in different states. So this might be your state, but I can only talk about Pennsylvania. In Pennsylvania, okay, pretty much. I say pretty much. This is generally, but any charge that was dismissed, withdrawn, no prost, which means the prosecution quit on the case. You were acquitted. That means you got a not guilty, okay? You can apply to get those charges expunged immediately, okay? Now, sometimes it's more complicated when that charge is part of a plea agreement, but if you beat any case outright, you can get that expunged right away, okay? Now, if you beat a full case outright, you can get expunged immediately.
You mean I was taking them charge like I took the plea on the other one?
What you're talking about is it's a little, so when charges are dismissed along with part of a plea where they like change the charge, like say you were charged with, I don't know, like a felony, receiving stolen property, and then they drop it down to a summary retail theft, okay? That's called a plea agreement, and the charge was amended as part of the plea agreement, okay? And that can get a little sticky as far as expunging those dismissed charges.
Really?
But you can file for that expungement, and a judge can take a look at it generally it will be granted. Actually depends on the county in my experience.
Yeah.
But any case you beat outright, whether it's felony, misdemeanor, and I'm talking the whole docket, you can get expunged right away. Summary offenses, you can get expunged even if you're convicted after 5 years, as long as you haven't committed another crime. There's also a new law in Pennsylvania allows you to get certain misdemeanors. Okay, you can get certain misdemeanors sealed and or expunged. I believe it's a 10-year period. I don't have it all memorized.
Okay.
But it helps. You know, we were chatting, Iggy. I mean, it helps. Like, here's the thing. In 2019, the year we're in, it might not show up on a background check, but employers can get online, okay? They can find shit on you, okay? Even if you beat a case, it might be out there. So getting it expunged is the best way to keep it away. Because generally background checks will only show convictions, but some employers will look even more and they can see, oh, this guy was charged with a felony. It ended up in a misdemeanor, but ooh, it's scary. He was charged with a felony.
Right.
Like, you might not want that out there.
Right.
Even if you beat it, it's still publicly available.
Oh, good look, Lady B. Love you for that, lady. Love you. Now, I love you, Lady B. Thank you. That's the first. I think that's my first one ever, huh? That's my first one ever. Oh, hold up. Oh, good look, Jeff George.
Oh, shit.
Love you, Jeff
Nice.
George. Good look, buddy. It's my first two right there. Now listen, what he's saying, I deal with every single job I ever tried to get since I've been home this bid. Before this bid, I always went back to selling crack, selling dope. I never changed. I always carried a gun. I drove without a license. I did all that dumb shit. And every time I stayed out of jail 2 months, 3 months. Then I go back. Another year, 2 years here. 4 years I just did. Like, so I got out of it. Now, I'm trying to do something legit, right? That's why I put on here, YouTube's the only one that hires a felon, all right? Because they're the only one that hire felons. You see all these felons on YouTube, like, when I go to a job, they literally pull up the crimes I was charged for.
Right.
My convictions are never brought up. I was convicted of possession with intent to deliver, deliveries, like drug convictions, some petty shit like access device fraud, receiving stolen property, high-speed chase, fleeing and looting, all that comes with a high-speed chase, simple assaults, stuff like that. Let me think. Small possessions, paraphernalia, stuff like that. But I have 2 violent crimes on my record that I was acquitted for, or I pled down to a lesser charge where the higher violent crime got withdrawn. So I didn't understand how they could hold that against me. So I kept going at it with these employers one after another. As you guys know, I went to welding school. I became a welder. And I owe all my debt in welding, and I'm wondering, like, how the hell why did I just go to school and now I can't get a job? These people won't hire. I thought they all hired felons, but that's only the union that hires the felons. And I can't get in the union without a license. Even though I'm good now to do that, we're talking past tense before the YouTube. So I deal with it all the time, man. It's in Pennsylvania, they will hold a charge against you that you were never convicted of.
Right.
Employer.
And that's one of the problems is the DA will overcharge you. Okay, they'll often overcharge. It's just something they do. And then you plead to some lesser crime, but that crime that you were overcharged on is still on there. That's what's happening. 20, 30 years ago, it didn't matter because a background check would only show what you were convicted of. But nowadays, with the internet, all the access that people have, they can see that shit. So it's more important than ever to get shit expunged. I mean, to get that off your record.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, let me ask you, Dan, want to take some questions?
I'll take some questions, or from you, or we can do from.
Yeah, I'll let them rock with you. All right, camera's on Joe. Hey guys, go check his channel out. You can, and then subscribe to him. We'll put it in the link. We'll put it in mods. If you have the channel, drop Joe Palmetto Show. Anyone ask whatever you got. You're facing trial, crimes, conviction. If you're civil suit, injury, go on. I'm gonna read them. Bring it on. What's the criminal justice system if it's all just a cover-up? I know you say expunged, but still, that means the same. Is that a question? Is that something? Do you know what you're saying?
Well,
What's the criminal justice system if it's all just a cover up? I know you say expunge, but still that means the same.
I kind of see what you're saying. I mean, here's my explanation is like, and I know this because I do plaintiff's work where I'm sort of the prosecutor, okay, is whenever they bring a charge against somebody, they're going to look through the criminal code and they're going to see everything that they think those facts fit, okay? Sometimes what happens is the case falls apart later on, which is actually what happened in Iggy's example. Is he was charged with the robbery, but then the evidence, the video later on showed that it wasn't a robbery, but he was charged with it, so it's actually still publicly available as a record. So, you know, what the DA does is they charge everything that they can. You may beat most or all of it, okay, but that other stuff is still publicly available. I'm not saying it's fair, okay? To be honest, to make it fair, it should be automatically expunged, okay? That wouldn't hamstring the Commonwealth in any way. It would cost the government a lot of money, okay? But that might be a good idea if we could change the laws, is if something's dismissed or no prost or withdrawn, should be automatically expunged.
Okay, Pocket Full Reptile says, do you have speedy trials in... Yeah, oh yeah, it's called a Phoenix Docket Court. Or a PDQ, and is there another speedy trial? Ain't there something else called Phoenix Docket Court? One.
There's called EDP and the Phoenix Docket.
Yeah, EDP.
So,
EDP's at the prelim, or you could you could do your thing. My bad.
Have you had that before, Iggy, or you just know about it?
My first case ever.
Yeah.
The dumbass, young as hell, didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
Already had a long juvenile record, trying to get out of jail. They said, "Oh, plea here, we'll give you 6 months probation at the prelim."
Yeah.
That changed my life, man. Don't take a plea at the preliminary hearing if you're new to jail. Don't do it. Talk to the lawyer first. I'm telling you, it ain't worth it to get out of jail sometime. That probation will hang you. My bad, guy.
Yeah. I mean, probation can be tough, and it's worth it to have your attorney negotiate the term of probation. Oftentimes, I mean, it may not seem like a big deal, but it can be. So, you know, they want 2 years, maybe get them down to 1.5 years, whatever. But, you know, the Phoenix docket is something that was in Allegheny County. I believe it originated in Phoenix, Arizona. Okay, they were doing it, and other states copied it. Okay, basically what happens is generally you got about 5 stages in the criminal process. The Phoenix docket tries to speed that up, okay? Therefore, certain types of offenses, mid-grade to lower level offenses, where what will happen is, you know, you'll be arrested, you'll have your preliminary hearing, and then you have a formal arraignment. Instead of a pretrial conference, you'll go to a Phoenix conference. They'll try to get you to settle the case right there. Now, I don't like it because it sort of fast walks my clients' cases when I need more time to get to actually analyze a case and bring a deal together, okay? So I'm not a huge fan of it, but I will say that for certain types of cases, it can result in a better plea deal than you would have got on the other docket. So it's sort of a weird thing to say whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. I can tell you the county likes it, most likely because it saves them money, helps them push cases through, you know, for better or worse. An EDP is just something, your preliminary hearing is called early disposition plea. They'll let you plea to a misdemeanor right at the prelim, when generally that has to come at a much later time. Okay, so again, it's supposed to be a little bit of a better deal. If you take it right there on the spot, it works out for some clients. But if you're not comfortable with it, like Iggy said, talk to your attorney about it. Talk to him. Your attorney should talk to them before the prelim. They should know if that's coming. Okay, I don't always know when it's coming, but most of the time I know the types of charges where it's coming, and I can talk to my client beforehand. So everybody's situation is a little bit different. But Iggy's right. I mean, you may want more time to think about your case. The thing with taking the EDP plea is that you haven't even seen the discovery yet. So you don't even know what the evidence is against you. Now, in some cases, like small-time possession, a lot of times like heroin possession is when they offer it, okay? The discovery ain't going to show you.
2 calls. I forgot I'm on that phone. Damn it. Don't call. I'm on that phone. I forgot. Damn it. I should have put that number out there.
Shit, I don't know. Am I still recording here?
Oh, see what happened. Hey, guys, don't call. I'm on that number.
Well, F it. Mine stopped. I don't know why, because I got my screensaver. That's okay. I may need to share this.
I'll just send it to you.
Yeah.
Hold on 1 sec. Where the hell
They can
are
call my
messages?
phone if you want to put a number in there.
You
want to take calls.
Real number?
No, I got my
text
attorney
that
number.
Okay.
That'll go to my
Yeah.
phone. 412
New number.
593.
1 second. Here, write that down right here for me, because I'm gonna ask you this question, so we keep answering these questions.
Yeah. Oops.
Outlook on life in Florida. Your third question. If you want, call in a different number. Hold on, I'm gonna give you a new number. Hold on. Now, due to your social security number staying the same, if you change your name, will your background check still show your charges? But due to social security, will you still? I think because social security probably would still show, huh?
That's a good question. If you want, I can look into that for you and get back to you. I honestly don't know. I would bet that it's still going to lock you down, because I do know on, like in the Pennsylvania, you get a state background check, right? It's done by the state troopers. Iggy's right. You got to put your social. You need your social, your date of birth, your first and last name. I think there's a little bit more information. So my hunch is that it's not gonna avoid the background check. But I honestly don't know. It might make it harder.
Yeah.
It might.
I honestly don't know either, guys.
Especially if it was in a different state and then your background check is in this state. Now, there's FBI background checks, which are a whole different level. But I don't have the answer to that for you. I'm sorry.
Here's a good one.
I hurt this shoulder.
Chris, my bad,
That's
bro.
all right.
My
That's
bad.
all right.
I forgot.
That's all right.
Hey, Chris Henderson, that's a good ass question. I'm surprised I didn't think of that. Now, how difficult is it to get your Second Amendment right back after felony conviction in PA? Like, get your gun back, right? That's what he's saying, right?
Yeah.
That's impossible, huh?
Man, that is a good question.
Whew, that's a good one, boy.
That's one I'm going to get back to you at. This is Chris Henderson.
Chris Henderson, go sub to his channel.
Here's what I'll tell you. I had a case one time where what a lot of people don't realize, and so this is something. Bring this up with your attorney. You need to say to your attorney, like, dude, a lot of my clients aren't into guns, whatever. Be like, I'm a legal gun owner, blah blah blah. You know, if you get a felony, it's gone. Okay. Misdemeanor 1, because it can be punishable for more than 2 years of jail, technically is going to take away some of your gun ownership rights. So felonies, misdemeanor 1s. Don't take this as a fact, okay? But my understanding is you almost have to beat that misdemeanor 1, okay? The restoration of rights my understanding is it's extremely difficult. I did have someone look into I looked into this a while ago. I'm sorry, Chris, I don't have the answer off the top of your head. Hopefully what helps is that if you get a felony or misdemeanor 1, you're going to lose your gun rights, okay? Lower than that, a misdemeanor 2, misdemeanor 3, you won't. Summary offenses. But this guy, the guy who contacted us, he had us do a habeas corpus appeal, like the last appeal on a case that was not very serious, okay? But it was a misdemeanor 1. It was not very serious, but it was a misdemeanor 1, and he was an avid sportsman, gun owner, etc., and we did a federal appeal, okay, to try to get it back. I believe that there's been attorneys who have filed this constitutionally. Chris, I'll get you a better answer though. Like, find me on Joe Palmetto Law Show, okay, or friend me on YouTube. I'll get you an answer in a couple of days.
I got a Pittsburgh dude for you right now. I know this dude. So Rob Valentine, he's he's a sleaze bucket from the south side. No, hey Rob, I'm playing with you, bro. And Rob, I got your question next, Rob. This is Rob Valentine.
Okay.
Rob Valentine's from the South Side.
Mm-hmm.
He said he was roughed up. I remember this. I remember this happening. A cop beat his ass.
Mm-hmm.
He was roughed up and all over a false accusation, which camera showed. She lied. Now they dropped the resist and assault, but kept this orderly. Which options do you have?
Is it still? So did he plead?
Just call in.
Did he plead? Let me see it again. I'm sorry.
That one.
Let me read it.
Maybe he should explain
99
it.
was roughed up all over false, which camera showed she lied. Now they dropped the resist and assault, but kept disorderly conduct. What options? Well, I don't know if the case is still pending, so you could have a hearing on the disorderly conduct. Here's something that's often done. If they drop those other charges, you want to get an attorney, go in there, okay, and ask the judge if you can maybe do community service or like an online anger management course in exchange for a full dismissal, okay? And then you can beat the case outright. You can get that whole thing expunged, not a problem. So that would be my advice if I'm understanding what's going on.
Rob Valentine, get a couple of dollars, man. You can call my man.
Absolutely.
I
Yeah.
already talked to him before this. He's a thorough dude. Like, checked all his credentials on Facebook. He went to the same college as my uncle. Cool dude. If you get the couple of dollars together, you know what I mean, give him a call or whatever, you know what I mean? Now, Rob, this is regular Rob. If you want to call in, call that number now. If you want to call in, call that number now.
Oh, shit. We got a call. I missed it. Damn. I had it turned off. I don't know.
Answer
That
this
was
one real
Rob.
quick. That's probably, I guarantee that's mass
Is he in
one.
Florida? Palatka, Florida? Somebody in Florida.
Rob, is that you in Florida? Is that it? Is that it?
We can call it. Hit speaker, yeah.
He says, DV assault charges, disgruntled ex-wife. I'm innocent.
innocent.
No proof at all. Her word against mine. Offered a year, and I said no. And no, they just came up with 8 more charges. Your thoughts? Hey, who is this, bud?
Who's this?
You just.
This is Attorney Joe Palmetto. I'm sitting here with Iggy. Did you call in?
Yeah, this is Outlook.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead, Florida
What's
boy.
up?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's your question?
Yeah, my question was going on with all these
They didn't
YouTube
do it.
auditors doing their First Amendment rights, going through all these federal buildings. Is that something that's a thing?
And let me just repeat it. So you asked if the YouTube auditors are going through and infringing on people's First Amendment rights. Is that your question?
Hey, was that your question?
Well, I'm just thinking about getting into the cop watching thing. And what is your tips on videotaping public officials or walking into their buildings or any police?
Oh shit.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. Here's so I'm not that schooled in that area of law, sir. I do know here's an important distinction. You know, you brought up YouTube at first. Important distinction is public and private, right? Okay, so like for example, like YouTube is blocking people or demonetizing them. They're a private company. Under the Constitution, they can do whatever they want. Okay, and private companies generally can deny people access to their all kinds of stuff. There's certain situations where they can't, but most stuff private companies can't. Now, public places, like you said, you're talking about like
Courthouses, health
Right.
departments.
Right. They have to follow a little bit of different rules. However, they're allowed to place like reasonable restrictions. Okay, so, you know, if a judge, like, basically the way it works is most trials, for example, anybody can go in and watch, but you can't necessarily, you know, videotape it. Is there certain things that you wanted to tape specifically that you were asking about?
No, I was just wondering if I've been doing a lot of cop watching YouTube films, you know what I'm saying?
Okay. Yeah, I mean,
Interesting.
you can videotape the police, you know, out in public, and really, there's my understanding, and I'm not that schooled in this, but there's not too much they can do about it. Okay, unless you're committing some other crime, et cetera, you can videotape them. I mean, they're public officials, so on and so forth. But that I think the important thing to think about is like public and private. because private
Right.
private companies can generally do whatever they want. I'm sorry, my answer's not better. I'm mostly criminal defense, so.
Hey, I appreciate it. I've been watching y'all doing a good thing. Hey, Iggy, love you, bro.
Hey, love you too, bro. Stay up, baby. Keep your head up. Hey, man, them cops can't do shit, bro. He bummed. He
All
bummed.
right.
Hey, let me get Rob in here real quick, because I feel bad. I don't think he won't call, though. Now, he asked... Okay, Rob.
I think I sort of remember Rob's question.
Regular Rob?
They dropped some new charges on him. I mean, Rob, you get a lawyer and look at that case hard, man. Get a lawyer and look at that case hard. Here's what I'll tell you, like domestic violence cases, okay, you're talking he said, she said, which a lot of these are, right? Or you know, she said, he said, whatever. Domestic violence cases, you can beat those at trial. You know, you can beat the. It depends. Every case is different, but you know, one argument is that you got person A with a story, person B with a story. Okay, their stories conflict. You have no reason, if there's no reason to believe one person over the other, then reasonable doubt should rule the day and that person should be acquitted. Now, if there's a third witness who can back up one of their stories, then you can get an idea of where that case is going to go, at least, you know, in my opinion. But, you know, sometimes a non-jury trial, which means a judge trial, like Iggy was talking about earlier, they might come down in your favor. But sometimes you want the jury too, and talk about that with your attorney. The way we do it is, one of the things attorneys say is when the facts are on your side, you want a jury trial. When the law is on your side, you want a judge trial. But, you know, depending on the judge, they might have certain tendencies in certain types of cases. So,
can you explain constitutional law that people are citing when they get pulled over and claim to not need a license to travel on a public road? Never even heard of that.
Yeah, so that's not a good argument. Here's the argument is, oh, we got a call coming.
Go ahead, answer that one.
Shoot, we lost it. That's from Bellevue.
That's mass. Go ahead, answer that, dude.
Call him back.
What I do? Yeah, but answer this one.
Oh, sorry, it pops up on there. Damn,
Which,
you're gonna have to reopen it maybe.
Which we're at? Safari?
What would you have it open under? Safari? Yeah.
I was over here last time I looked. It just
click
happened.
on the Safari. Click on there.
Will you answer that one before this dude? He's gonna answer something else. Hold.
Shit. See.
Yeah, that's him again. But look, answer dude, please.
Answer
I
this
know
dude.
This is. Yeah.
Okay.
Mass, hold on real quick. All right. Bro. Mass,
Okay.
you hear me, bro?
So I'm gonna talk about driving on public roads. All right. So I do a lot of DUIs, for example, and what you will see is,
dude, do you hear me, bro?
And what you will see
Hello?
is, if you're on a wholly private road, okay, they may not be able to pull you over, okay? One of the requirements is that you be on a public road, okay? When you're on a wholly private road, okay, and I'm not sure exactly how it works, but let's say you are super rich, okay, and you have a racetrack on your own private property, okay, and you get drunk and you're driving around on that racetrack, okay. The police, for DUIs and a lot of vehicle-related stuff, licenses, they're not going to have jurisdiction over you, okay, if it's a wholly private road. However, sometimes if it leads to a public road, or when you're on a public road, they are going to have jurisdiction over you. I don't know all the ins and outs of that, but I do know there is case law out there in Pennsylvania. A wholly private road, they can't arrest you for driving infractions. I hope that helped.
Go ahead, Max. Go ahead, bro. You on with him, bro.
Hey, what's up, man?
Hey, what's up? What's your question?
My question is, since you're a lawyer, did you have to study the Black's Law Dictionary?
I didn't have to study it, but I bought one. I have one.
Okay, and yeah, I believe, didn't we adopt our laws from the Magna Carta?
Well, yeah, so that's a little too, here's what I'll tell you. The Black's Law Dictionary is awesome. And I had a professor my first year of law school, okay? And what he did, he taught us legal process and procedure. He made us buy that book and the Black's Law Dictionary. And literally every word that we didn't know, we had to go to the Black's Law Dictionary and figure it out. It was like learning another language. And the Black's Law Dictionary is your book. That's like the new language book, okay? And this professor, I had dinner with him. He's a nice guy, great professor. He made us do definitions like we were in grade school, and everybody thought it was stupid, okay? But let me tell you, I learned more from doing those definitions than I did in half of the other courses that I took. So you could think of a Black's Law Dictionary as like a lawyer's handbook, a guidebook. That's like your alphabet. It is like a different language. So I have one. Every lawyer, if a lawyer doesn't have one, then they need to check their shit because it's important. As far as the, I mean, you want me to talk about the Magna Carta, or you have another question?
No, I just wanted to suggest for everybody to get a Black's Law Dictionary, because a lot of the words you think you know, they actually mean something completely different when it comes to law.
Oh, I agree, 100%. Certain words that you use, and I can't think any off the top of my head, but certain words that we use in regular talk, when it's used in a legal context, like you said, sir, it has a different meaning. It does, a different meaning.
Yeah, like citizen, it means, I think means land in the Black's Law Dictionary.
Yeah, it may. And you're going to get words that just, usually they're going to go back to their different root. But what we call them is the legal meaning. A word might mean like arrest, the word arrest, right? Like everybody has an idea of what arresting means, but arrest has its own legal meaning. For example, there's differences between arrest, detention, an investigatory detention, right? We have to draw all of those differences. So most people wouldn't think that an arrest and a detention has a different meaning, but it does. And Black's Law helps clear that up.
Yes, and my second question is, have you ever had a client that proclaimed they were a sovereign citizen?
I haven't had the sovereign citizens, but I've seen them in the courthouse. And look, I sympathize with that argument, but what I'm telling you is that the judges, they don't care. And the law, the law that's out there doesn't support the sovereign citizen argument. So they're gonna ignore that. And listen, like, I get it. It's like you don't want to recognize, the laws that are over you, this and that. But the courts, they don't give a shit.
Yeah, you're right. Well, thanks for taking my call, man, and shout out to Iggy. And I suggest everyone in the chat room, even if you don't buy a Black's Law Dictionary, just look it up, and it'll blow your mind. Later, guys.
Later.
All right, bro. It's all love, bro. Hit me up. I'll rap you. Peace, bro. Adam Sirazin. All right. I can actually answer this a little bit. Can prisoners legally file and receive taxes in/from prison? You have problems in New Jersey. Now, all I know for sure is my man, my best friend's up SCI Fayette right now. And this year he didn't do it because he wanted me to do it. And I don't know how to do it. I'm not filing taxes, bro. That's like way too much for me. I'm not, I got this going on. So we tried to get some chick to do it. I don't know what happened. But anyway, last year he filed his taxes from prison and got an income tax back, and they mailed it into him, and he did it 100%. Can you put anything on that?
I haven't really, my clients haven't asked me about that, even though I've had clients in at tax time. I imagine what Iggy says is the truth. I can't see how a jail could deny you your ability to do the taxes. That'd be pretty crazy. But it's probably happened.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're getting taxed legally by the checks you get in jail. Like if you work in there, getting paid $1
Look,
a week or 25 cents an hour. Some jobs are different.
Listen, the government isn't going to let jail be used as an excuse for them not to collect their taxes. Right?
Yeah.
And if they stopped you from filing them, they're not getting their money. So
It's definitely possible though, man. New Jersey, I can see them giving you problems.
Yeah,
I think if the jail found out about Perez doing it, they wouldn't have liked it. They'd have probably tried to stop it if the state knew. That kid Rob Valentine has been saying stuff. He said they want me to. He's first up top. He said they whooped his ass pretty bad. Now they're saying they want me to plead guilty, but I was roughed up pretty bad and lied on. So yes, I have upset, but seems petty. But I'm not in a position to accept the charge I was forced into.
I mean, here's the thing, Rob, is you can bring lawsuits against the police, okay, if they used excessive force. There's some other areas as well where they're going to do that. But here, like, I don't practice particularly in that area of civil rights. There's a lot of attorneys out there that do. So if you should talk to a lawyer. I mean, hit me up on my YouTube. Maybe I could put you in touch with someone. As far as suing them for excessive force. Now, one thing I do know is that if you lose your criminal case, it's going to be a lot harder probably to beat the excessive force. I'd have to really know more details, what the criminal complaint says, etc. If you don't feel comfortable with the plea, you always have the right to go to a trial, okay? If you have the public defender. The thing is, and the reason most people plea is because you're going to get a better deal on sentencing if you plea. If you go to trial, okay, you might get hit harder on the sentencing, and that can be the difference between probation and jail. This is something you got to have. Your attorney needs to know the ins and outs of your case. If you watch from the beginning, I was asking Iggy, is he on probation? What's his prior record score, etc. All that stuff is going to play a role, okay, as to what your decision is going to be. So I would just say, though, man, is like, if you truly feel innocent, go to trial. Talk to your attorney, find a way to beat the case, or at least take it to trial. You'll preserve your appeal rights. But if you're facing jail, you may want to think about a plea. You can do a no contest plea. That's something to talk about. It's called nolo contendere, or no contest, which means you're not saying you're guilty, but you recognize there's enough evidence against you to convict you, so you don't want to fight the case. Getting some donations, man.
Yeah. Hey, Yolanda, thank you so much. I appreciate the hell out of that. Guys, this is the first time I ever got these, so thank you. And Mass, good look, brother. I appreciate you, bro, for real. We're going to do a live stream with Mass 1. He got all kind of prep and stuff. I'm going to show you guys. We'll talk about the prep and stuff that night. But Yolanda, thank you, and God bless you. If this channel ever blows up, you'll get it back. Recovering Soul, one of my mods, said, how does a person exert their constitutional right when the courthouses don't go by the Constitution?
Well, listen,
She's
Recovering
smart.
Soul. Here's what I can tell you is the courthouse is supposed to go by the Constitution. So if you're denied your constitutional rights, you got to take it to the next level. You got to take it from the Court of Common Pleas, which is the lowest level, to the Superior Court, to the Pennsylvania Supreme Court, if necessary, to the United States Supreme Court. Look, here's the thing. People have different interpretations of the Constitution, okay? They shouldn't, but they do. Some things are plainly written. But what you're gonna, that's the job of the courts, is to interpret the Constitution. I don't know if you're, on the highest level, the U.S. Supreme Court. There's some $100. Look at that. There's some who see the Constitution as a living document. Maybe you've heard that if you watch the news. And they think that the Constitution is constantly changing, and so your constitutional rights change. Okay, they change when you get the U.S. Supreme Court can modify it, can change them. So there's no easy answer to your question. If you feel you were denied, you get an attorney, you talk to your attorney, okay, and you fight. That's it. I mean, it's all them times constitutional rights are changed or exerted. That's because there was some lawyer working hard who took it all the way. And sometimes it's even just a pro se litigant on their own taking it all the way.
Yolanda, please, I appreciate the help. I appreciate you so much. You seriously, that's good. You ain't ever gotta send money again. You're good right there. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. God bless you. Thank you a lot. I'm speechless right now. I don't even know what to say. I don't know how to handle getting super chats. I never got them before. You didn't know this. I don't know how to handle it. I did see a good question in here. Now I can't find it.
Go to Joe Palmetto Law Show. Check out my channel, Joe Palmetto Law Show.
What they ask?
I don't know.
Oh, didn't ask nothing?
No. I'm just shouting out.
Mr. Palmetto, do you ever dislike cops in court?
I mean, look, man, it's yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's some that I don't like to deal with and that may come at me in the wrong way, but at that same token, there's some that I can deal with all the time. Really straight up, honest guys, nice, take their jobs really seriously, listen to what I have to say, what my client has to say. So I don't know if that's a satisfactory answer, but that's the answer I have. Is there's some cops that are great, and some cops that are they're not great. But there's a whole range. There's just a whole range. Sometimes I get annoyed, like some of the officers just aren't very prepared, and then like I did a trial one time where I just thought this officer, he just didn't take the case very seriously, and unfortunately my client in that situation didn't have the right to a jury trial, and we lost at a judge trial, but that officer just, his testimony was just terrible, and it was just because he didn't take it, seriously, and that kind of annoyed me, and I wished the judge would have recognized that, and help my client out, but it didn't go down that way. But yeah, I mean, there's cops that I dislike, and there's officers that I like. That's all.
And you know what? Let me just speak on that. I dislike almost every cop I ever came across in court, but I got to tell you that the Chicago cops were the coolest cops I ever met in my life. These cops, well, I never told you what happened, how I got arrested down there. Well, I'm in West Chicago, terrible neighborhood. There's like 3 people dying a day up there. All right, I had a connection up there, so I go and I grab 9 grams of heroin. All right, I get caught with it. But they pull my pants down on the street. I have it tucked in my private area. And the one cop went and grabbed my penis. And I'm like, oh, bro. But I'm already cuffed. Here's another thing. He'll tell you this right now. I'm walking down the street. They jump out on me. They're all Marines, and they're only for drug activity in Chicago. Anyone from Chicago will tell you this. They drive around SUVs. They're all Marines, and they only look for drugs. They jump out on me. I got all kind of fresh clothes on. They're like, what are you doing? Oh, he's a drug dealer. Cuff him. They detained me right away off the rip. They didn't even search me yet and detained me. You allowed to do that? No probable cause, jumped out of me literally.
No, they got to have some sort of PC, or they got to have reasonable suspicion.
They seen dope fiends there.
Yeah, that's some of the bullshit that they'll pull sometimes. Is, oh, this is a high crime area, blah, blah, blah. You might have been able to file a suppression motion on that.
Yeah,
I mean, you know,
I definitely could have. Listen,
I don't know Chicago. That's Illinois law. But
this is no. They ain't allowed to do that. They ain't not
No,
allowed to do
yeah,
nowhere.
no.
So, but listen what they did after that. Now I'm cuffed. They're talking about 5 minutes. They keep patting me down. They find my car keys. They're like, he has a car, dude. They got so excited about me having a car. They're like this on the street. Dude. They find my car. They start. Now they're ripping my car up. I'm not even in my car, dude. And they're searching my car. You can't do that. You can't do that. Like, I didn't have
gotta
a
have
license.
a warrant. They gotta go get a warrant before.
They're searching everything. Next, they don't find nothing. I don't got nothing on me, right? Well, they don't find nothing. Next, they start touching me again. And this Mexican cop went in my... Dude, that's my right hand up to God on my father's grave. He went in my right pocket and grabbed my shit. So of course I jump. I'm like, whoa. He's like, Sarge, he jumped. He got something. I'm like, man, you just grabbed my penis, bro. Of course I jumped. Dude, they undid my belt and pulled my pants and boxers down on the street in front of people. Ass out, balls hanging. I swear to God, man. Then my pack fell. I got caught with 9 grams of heroin like that. Now, as you guys know, when I went to court, they gave me a love shot. All right. If I got caught with 9 grams of heroin in Pennsylvania, I'm doing at least 5 to 10 years. At least. That's how they sentence you in PA. They give you a 5 to 10. There's no flat sentences, only in the feds. Pennsylvania State, it's always a 2 to 4, 5 to 10, 7 to 14, 6 to 12. I do at least 5 years for that much dope. But in Chicago, they gave me 2 years of probation because of how much shit goes on out there. It's nothing to that.
Wow.
So I had to take it. I had to. I wasn't going to fight them by pulling my pants down. And this is what I mean about them cops out there are cool. They actually let me drive away without a license when I got out of jail. They kept my car at the police station for 2 months. Went back, it wasn't impounded or nothing. That was cool. Then they give me the car keys, my jewelry at the police station. Don't keep it at the jail. And let me drive away. I thought it was a setup. They let me drive away. Then, this time around, when I got pulled over leaving Chicago, after I got out of jail a month ago, when I got out, when I left Chicago, I got pulled over again because there was a homicide in the area I was in. And they was just looking for someone, I think. But I gave them my ID. I didn't have my license on me again. My license isn't suspended, but I didn't have it on me. Dude, they gave it. Go ahead. Let me drive right away. So that's cool. PA don't do that 9 times out of 10 unless you know the cop. They usually don't do that. But, yeah, I can just say some cops, nah, I ain't cool with none of them. Some COs are okay though. I've had met county guards and prison guards that I would have a drink with on the street, like for real, that were cool. You know what I mean? Anyone want to call in? Call in.
We miss any calls? Nope. Any questions over there?
Yeah, there's definitely questions. I gotta find them again. 1 sec, guys. Sorry, I gotta find you in here. Joe, no idea. Sorry. Can anyone help John? John, on my bad.
They're trying to get a payment through. I think somebody's having a problem getting a payment through.
What am I missing, guys? Go ahead, type now.
There was something. There was a constitutional question. Again,
What was up there right now? Was there another one up there? So I can thank them?
I have a question about 18080.
Oh, Mike Heasy, thank you, brother. I appreciate that, bro. Thank you, Mike Heasy. Sorry, ain't much, bro. Oh, yeah. Thanks, brother. I appreciate you. I thought you had a question. I appreciate that, Mike. My man. Iggy, a good cue for everyone. How should you ask if am I being detained and probable cause and stuff?
Well, you can just ask the officer. You can just ask the officer. Here's the thing is, you don't have to talk to the police. Okay, some people feel compelled to talk to the police. I mean, obviously, normal human interaction, a person asks you a question, okay, you want to give an answer, okay? Is this where the camera is right here?
Yeah, this is it right here.
Okay.
Yep.
You want to give an answer, a question. Okay, you don't really have any duty to speak to the officers, okay? Now they may attempt to detain you based on that, but they need probable cause, okay? or at the very least, they need reasonable suspicion. Okay, it's those are two little strange definitions there. Okay, but for certain some invasions of privacy are very minor, and all you need is reasonable suspicion. Okay, and for greater invasions of privacy, you need probable cause. Okay, generally on a traffic stop, you can ask the officer why they stopped you. If they ask you to get out of the vehicle, go ahead and get out of the vehicle. What you do not want to do is give them consent. They're going to try to talk you into consent. Don't give them consent. Okay, either they have probable cause or they get a warrant. If you give them consent, they don't need either of those things, and then they can search, all right, and find something when they may not have had the probable cause to take that step. Same thing goes in your house. The police come to your house, okay, don't let them in. Don't consent to it. If they got a warrant, they're coming in anyway. If they have probable cause, they're coming in anyway. Don't consent to it. So that's just a quick and dirty sort of tip to give to you. It's fine to ask the officers questions. Ask for an attorney. Ask for an attorney. Say, if you want to ask me some questions, okay, I only want to be questioned in the presence of my attorney. I know I have the right to an attorney. I don't want to self-incriminate myself. That's your Fifth Amendment right to remain silent. Most people are familiar with that. So tell the officer, look, I'm going to exercise my Fifth Amendment right to remain silent. I'd be happy, I'd consider answering your questions, but only after I've spoken to my attorney. And listen, you cannot ask for an attorney enough, okay? Some people think talking to the officers right off the bat is going to help them beat the case. They're going to be nice, blah, blah, blah. Most of the time what happens is people say something that the officers are then going to use against them. Okay, I'm not going to say it hasn't happened where someone's talked their way out of it, but it's rare. Most of the times my clients come to me, they already self-incriminated themselves, all right? The police are trained to get a statement out of you. So don't give it to them. Don't give it to them. Even if, look, they can detain you, they can put you in jail. You may have to spend a night in jail, okay, but it's better than spending 2 years in jail or getting convicted of a misdemeanor or felony. In my opinion, it's not an easy pill to swallow, but it's better. You should get arraigned in 9 to 12 hours and get out. So don't talk to the police.
And I never did a crime I'd have to do. Now I'm back, giving it back to you. Bitch better pimp smack you upside now. Better let it hold you on and get jumps when they see you on your mobile phones.
You got a point there. I think it was recovering God or recovering good.
Recovering soul.
They're gonna use it. They're gonna use it against you. I mean, don't. I've had like DUIs. People get pulled over. Now, how many drinks you had? Oh, well, I had 2 or 3 drinks. Well, the judge is gonna hear that at your trial. You just admitted to having 2 or 3 drinks, like. Boom, they nailed you. Like, you're done. So don't shoot yourself in the foot. Make them do their job. Make them do their job.
Yeah, Rob, Valentine, you already know, bro. It ain't no request at all, bro. I ain't worried about the money at all, bro. It ain't about that, bro. But, bro, I see you every day, bro. It's all good. Don't even, it's all, it's gravy, bro. You got kids. Yeah, Radical, exactly. John Smith Treeler, no doubt, buddy. Got you, buddy. Yeah, I know, Mass. Yolanda's a keeper, huh? She a rider, bro.
Are they seeing our whole face there?
Yeah, like, see how they
see that?
Yeah, no. I'm down on the screen.
Oh, okay, okay.
If this is that's how they'll always see us.
Cool.
Police lie on police reports too. Put words in your mouth and never said leave. You're right. So they lie on everyone I've ever had. They lied on everyone I've ever had. I'm missing stuff.
And I'll tell you that sometimes that's the importance of having a preliminary hearing. So look, I waived preliminary hearings, okay, but I had a lot of preliminary hearings. Sometimes you have a preliminary hearing just to get the officer under oath, and then some of them bless their souls, you know, they'll say something different at the preliminary hearing than they put in that freaking report, okay? And that can help your case. So just keep that in mind. I mean, don't treat the preliminary hearing, treat it with importance, because it's important.
Why wouldn't Why would someone grab Iggy's junk while he's handcuffed? Duh, natural progression. I mean, I would. Hey, Lady B, you're funny as hell. I had to read it out loud. I had to.
Yeah, Jeff, you're right. Fourth Amendment is your protection against search and seizure, unreasonable search and seizure.
Yeah, and all right, Mike. Thanks, bro. Dang, I forget.
Talking about detention is, it's you asked me that question. How do you know when you're detained? Like, there's very detailed case law out there. Like, it's pretty wild. Like, sometimes, I believe, don't quote me on this, but like they pulled someone out on a vehicle stop and just walked them over behind a police car. And at that point, the court said that they were detained. So literally the distance from their own car to where they were by the police car changed the nature of the stop. So that's a complicated question to know when you're detained. You can always ask the officers if they're there, they're interrogating you, they're searching, say to them, officer, am I free to leave? Am I being detained? Am I free to leave? Am I being detained? Ask them that question.
Everything you say can be against you, but anything you say that could be you. That's the one you read, huh? That's the one you read.
Yeah. I'll just, hearsay, like that. Sometimes people, I had this conversation with a client recently to understand what hearsay is. It's complicated, but think about like the caption of a criminal case is going to say the Commonwealth versus so-and-so. Let's say the Commonwealth versus John Smith. Okay. John Smith can use any words that the Commonwealth makes at his trial. Okay. So the Commonwealth includes law enforcement. All right. I don't know a lot of the Pittsburgh rappers. I know, I don't know them, but I should probably get into that scene a little bit. Maybe Iggy can inform me. If he know, I don't know. But anyway, with hearsay, it is so Commonwealth versus John Smith. The Commonwealth can use John Smith's words against him, always. John Smith can use the Commonwealth's words against them. So anything the officers say or anything the defendant says, that's coming into the trial. It's a third party. Thank you, Caleb. It's a third party that is hearsay. That person has to be in the courtroom under oath, or the Commonwealth and the defendant can't use that person's words. It's called an out-of-court statement used for the truth of the matter asserted. Anyways, just something to remember with hearsay. It's pretty complicated.
I got a good one. How far does freedom of speech go on the internet? Is leaking information a constitutional right when it comes to freedom of information as long as the information isn't stolen / hacked? That's a good-ass question, Blue Magic. I hope he can answer, because I couldn't.
I'll give you an opinion on that. First of all, freedom of speech, what the Constitution does, the state or the federal Constitution. Yeah, I can get to Julian Assange, maybe. But the state and the federal Constitution is a limit on the powers of the government. Okay, remember that. It limits the power of the state government and the federal government. It does not limit the powers of private companies. So, you see Twitter, Facebook, whoever, even YouTube, all right, they want to regulate speech. They can do that. It's completely constitutional, okay? The people who cannot limit your speech, at least not very much, is the government. That's the United States government. So for example, there were like when the government passes a law, like government tried to pass laws regulating commercial speech, okay? Or if the government had a law that said, and this happens in like dictatorships, right? Totalitarian governments. They'll come forth and say, if you say anything bad about the supreme leader, okay, that's illegal. You can go to jail. The government cannot do that in the United States. It limits the power of the government. So it doesn't bind Facebook. It doesn't bind Twitter or any of these private companies. Now, the government itself could actually try to apply the Constitution, okay, to these companies. The government could do that. I know that it may be hard to understand conceptually. The government's probably never going to do that. That may be unconstitutional. But when you're thinking freedom of speech, think, is it the government who is the actor? If it's not, then it's probably legal censorship. And even another thing to understand with speech is even the government, not all speech, like we have laws for defamation, we have laws for libel and slander, and there's even these hate speech laws which are rarely used, but they exist. Portions of them have been found unconstitutional, but you're talking, okay, so defamation, you can be sued civilly for it. So even in the United States, which I think has the best laws when it comes to freedom of speech in the world, some of your speech is still limited. And basically these companies can, honestly, they can do whatever they want within the bounds of the law.
As you guys know, they do, especially on my channel.
Right. They do. But it's similar to like if somebody came into your house, okay, you can kick them out. If they say something you don't like in your house, that's your private domain. And the law respects that. And that's kind of what happens with these companies. Now, it would change if the government started to recognize these companies as what are called public forums. So, for example, if you want to, I don't know, let's say you have a cause. I'm going to pick something, that isn't, I don't know, something controversial. Say you think that all coffee should have caffeine, okay? Oh, that's your cause. You believe decaffeinated coffee is bad, blah, blah, blah. In a public forum, the government cannot stop you from expressing that opinion, okay? You do have to sometimes get permission, so the time and the place, but it has to be reasonable on the part of the government and the person who wants to exercise their speech. So we probably will collaborate more. But for example, that's why most protests, right, happen at public parks and public squares, because the government can't stop you in those places. There was a famous case, in the 1970s, and I'm sure it's happened since, but there was the Ku Klux Klan marched through a Jewish neighborhood, okay? And the government was like, we can't stop it, okay? That's a public individual, okay? That's United States citizens exercising their right to free speech, and where the government can't stop them. So just remember that. The weird thing that they're trying to do with social media, some advocates have argued, people on YouTube, etc., is that social media like Facebook should be declared a public forum. Then it would be similar to the public square, like an area in downtown Pittsburgh, okay? If the government declared Facebook a public forum, then Facebook would all of a sudden not be able to censor the speech. It's never going to happen, in my opinion, that because, again, our government doesn't like to get involved in speech or the actings of private companies. But that's what would need to happen for there to be a right to speech on Facebook, on Twitter, is if the government, the Supreme Court said, this is now a public forum, but it's not. It's private. Like, think Occupy Wall Street, right? Like, they were down on, if you know Pittsburgh, okay, there was the Melon Green, all right? And Occupy Wall Street was down on the Melon Green. They had all their tents and stuff. That was actually a close call on that case because because Mellon owned that property, but they made it available to the public. Now, Mellon may have been able to kick those people off. They chose not to. There would have been probably a case about it, a lawsuit, et cetera, et cetera. That was like quasi-public, quasi-private land. So it's very complicated. There's a lot of constitutional law out there on it if you're really bored or you're interested in that stuff. Oh, missed the call. Shit.
We had a lot of good info tonight, guys. Good stream. Valuable information. Knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. Hey, what's up, Brenda? You praying for us tonight, Brenda? You're the last. Let Brenda be ready, cause you're the last call. You praying? You any religion?
Me? I was raised Catholic. Catholic? But I'm,
me too. I'm Christian now, though.
I believe in God. It's, I'm not a real Bible thumper or anything like that, though.
Yeah, I hear that. I read it mostly in jail.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Hey, what's up? It's Joe and Iggy. Hello?
Hey, how's it going?
What's up, fam? What else?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. You got a question?
Yeah, I was the one that put up the question about the 180/80. What? I mean, this was 4 years ago. I've been out, just busting around the streets, but I don't know. It was like 2015 or 2014. They arrested me on a felony charge, a couple of felonies. I didn't have nothing to do with it. They actually had the wrong person. I ended up doing 8 months on a misdemeanor, but I did file for my 180/80. Either grand jury charged me or released me. It never took place, and months later I got, just downplayed to a misdemeanor, so that time I was in jail looked convenient to the court system. So, what do you do in a case like that? Because I haven't been able to do anything.
I'm actually, was that a federal case?
No, it was a local county case.
I'm actually, what's 180/80? I'm actually not familiar with that.
That's like you get 180. You got to get a trial. That's like
the
first 6 months.
Yeah.
They got to see you.
That was my right to have my trial, my grand jury done within 72 hours, and my trial up and started running, because at the time I was looking at like a minimum of 5 years. I swear.
They held you past that limit? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, they ended up charging me with a misdemeanor about 7 months later in a small town court somewhere.
But you were in jail that whole time?
Yeah.
Did you have an attorney?
Yeah, actually, I had a couple of defenders to satisfy the court that there was an attorney present.
Okay, so
Nothing the whole time you're at court, an attorney.
You're so the clock on that, so the clock on that, and man, I gotta look this up. I might have to get back to you on this. Okay, Pennsylvania. I believe that.
Well, I'm in New York, so our laws are a little different. I'm over probably about 120 miles.
Yeah, okay, so in Pennsylvania, they have to bring you to trial within 1 year, okay? This gentleman's asking me, so he was held past the date under which they were required by the law to bring him to trial or resolve his case. I haven't heard the term 180/80. I know in Pennsylvania, they got to bring you to trial within 1 year. You are correct. Okay. At 180 days, you should get nominal bond. That's what he's talking about.
Well, in 180 days, when you go to jail in PA, you have your arraignment, you have a preliminary hearing, you got a formal arraignment, paper date, then you got a pre-trial conference, another paper date.
Yeah.
From the day you were arrested, they have to give you a trial date within 6 months. That's the 180 rule. So, but listen, that doesn't mean nothing. Like, it's just a postponement date unless you're taking a plea. But in 180 days, you'll always get seen within 6 months. Always.
Yeah, Iggy knows a little bit more about that than I do. Here's what I can. Go ahead.
My whole thing was I was actually trying to push them to take it to trial because I had
gotten information from an outside source that came in to visit me that the people they requested to come into the grand jury never showed up to be their witnesses or whatever, just blew all off.
So they held you on a case that fell apart for them.
Basically, yeah, and then they switched it later in the town court to a misdemeanor. So, I mean, I did try to follow up on, hey, this is unlawful sentencing or illegal sentencing or whatnot, but
Okay. I can tell you a little bit about that rule in Pennsylvania, and it's probably true in New York. If the defendant postpones the case for any reason, that time doesn't count. So, you got to have a trial within 365 days. The 180, Iggy knows a little bit more about that than I do. But if there's all these reasons to which that time doesn't count. So if you say you need to postpone the case to get a lawyer and it takes you 2 months, those 60 days don't count against that clock. Okay. If the defendant postpones for any reason, that time doesn't count. And then there's other reasonable.
you're in custody?
Even if you're in custody. So here's the thing to do is never postpone.
Well, how do they bill? How are they allowed to bill the state or county for the cost of housing you live there? There's not.
Well,
that seems beyond the margin of the court's right, no matter how we go about it. Proof or no proof.
Well, sir, I mean, I agree with you that it's bullshit.
So it's that right there.
I agree with you, but you have the whole prison industrial complex, so they don't care. Somebody's making money. The taxpayers are paying money that's going into people's pockets, the more people that are sitting in jail. So they don't mind holding you. They're making money in a lot of ways. I mean, you got these privately owned federal prisons. Some judges and courthouses are concerned with money like that, but most of them aren't. So what I do know though is if the defendant postpones the case, you lose that time. That time, it's called in PA, it's excluded. It's an exclusionary rule. And then if the Commonwealth has certain reasonable postponements, that time can also be excluded. So you have to be very, very careful about that because the judges are very liberal with that rule. And what I mean by that is they don't want to throw cases out for violation of that rule. They want to keep the cases around, unfortunately. So be careful if you think the case is BS, don't postpone it. Like Iggy said, I mean, push it to trial, push it, have your hearings, blah, blah, blah. Force the Commonwealth to do their job.
Yeah. Well, all right. Hey, I appreciate you guys taking my call. ABA, much love. Keep your life going the way it's going. Look like you got it on the right track, man.
No doubt, buddy. Thank you. Who is this again? Who is this in the chat?
Oh, this comes up under my girl's name, Cindy Bullshit, but it's Tim.
Oh, this Tim. What's up, Tim? Oh, all right. Good. No doubt, buddy. I appreciate that. Well, so you won't holler at me with anything else while you're on here?
I changed it. No, I changed that on her YouTube page, but she get mad at me if I change her chat logo. So.
It's all good. It's all good, bro.
All right. Keep up the good work, Iggy. Thanks.
No doubt, buddy. You too. Thank you, bro. Bye-bye.
I think another person wants to call. It's probably a little better if you guys type the questions because it's hard for our viewers to hear the phone calls.
What that was a text. Was it something down there? Where at? Or is this dude just typing number in?
John Smith, is this it?
Yeah,
is
he's typing that's my.
You can have him call me.
That's my number. That's the number that's after tonight. Right now, we're doing the number you put the first time. Yeah, Caleb. Dude one Caleb is tonight. The 701 number's my number. Yeah, that's my number. The one we're doing tonight is Joe's number. What's that? You want to explain what a habeas corpus is to them in a suppression hearing?
Yeah. So,
if you ever wrap it up, let me know when.
Yeah,
My bad, my bad, my bad.
yeah. That's all right. Let me do these two, and then maybe one more question. So there's habeas corpus. There's a federal habeas corpus, and there's a state habeas corpus. A habeas corpus has sort of a general meaning, goes back really far in American and British law. But anyway, habeas corpus is like anytime you believe that you're being wrongfully detained, okay, you can sort of file a motion under a habeas corpus. More specifically, though, what it's used for in Pennsylvania, and the case law supports this, is if you've had a preliminary hearing and you think that the magistrate shouldn't have held your case over based on the evidence, okay, then you can file a habeas corpus at the Court of Common Pleas level, and then you're going to have a Court of Common Pleas elected, trained judge, okay, look at your case. In a way, it's sort of like a second bite at the apple. So that's what habeas is in the state system. It also has other functions that I'm not as familiar with, but they do exist. It's something, if you're ever in a case, ask your attorney about it. But usually if you lose your preliminary hearing and your case goes from a magistrate to a judge, Court of Common Pleas, all right, then you think that judge, that magistrate made a bad decision, you want to have a habeas. You got to have a good reason to ask for it, though. Okay, and your attorney will let you know if there's some good facts or an argument there that'll help you win at the habeas. If you waive your preliminary hearing, you lose your right to a habeas corpus hearing. So if you waive your prelim, no habeas for you. Remember that. A suppression hearing is, we've been talking about the Fourth Amendment a lot, the unreasonable right to of search and seizure. The government cannot search your person, your belongings without a good reason. Generally, it's probable cause. The Constitution doesn't use that word, but it has a legal meaning. If you want to challenge some of the evidence that the police have gathered, all right, you have to have a suppression hearing, and then you argue that evidence was gathered in violation of the Fourth Amendment. The way that works, if you win that hearing, you win your argument, you say, Judge, they didn't have probable cause, and the judge agrees with you, then any evidence they gathered in violation of that rule cannot be used at trial. So they could still take you to trial, but sometimes a suppression hearing will knock a case out. Sometimes that is the whole defense that you have. But you can win a whole case on a suppression hearing. You can weaken a case. I'll give you an example. This is actually a moment I'm pretty proud of. But anyway, I challenged an identification of one of my clients. So this guy in a robbery picked out my client in radical life-making. I don't know how long we're going to stay up, man. I'm getting tired. But anyway, there was a robbery, and my client was picked out of a lineup. So I challenged that identification. It was a photo array, all right? It was 8 dudes who looked like my client, okay? And he was picked out of that. So we had a suppression hearing. I don't want to get too far into the details. I got a confidentiality, but I won that suppression hearing, and the victim there testified terribly, and the judge agreed with me, and he suppressed that identification. Now, it didn't mean that I didn't win the case outright, but my guy went from facing 5 to 10 to getting an offer of 18 to 36. We ended up taking that offer because the defendant would have still been able to go to trial and identify my client, because you can always make identifications in the courtroom. So to remove the risk, my guy already had 8 or 9. He already had some time in, so he was looking at an early, a decent parole date. I don't know. So. That's a suppression motion. That's something, if you are in a case, you want to talk about with your attorney. You want to talk about it.
All right, guys, this is our last question, and Joe got to go to sleep. So he got work tomorrow. So this is our last question, all right? Jonia J says, what should you do if the police want to search your car prior to your arrest? Last question, guys.
Whatever you do, Janaea, is you do not consent to it. Do not let them do it. Listen, here's the thing: is if you're committing a crime, okay, and they want to stop. If they have probable cause, here, all right, let me back up. In order for them to do a search without your consent, they need probable cause or a warrant. Probable cause or a warrant. Okay. If they have probable cause or a warrant, they're not going to ask you for consent. Well, I don't want to say that. They might still ask you because it's easier if they get the consent. If they get the consent, then they know any evidence they find can be used. Okay? If you haven't been arrested, don't consent to them searching your car. You even specifically may want to say, I do not consent to you searching my car. If the officer says, do you mind if I take a look around? Can I search the inside of your vehicle? Say no. And that's it. That's it. If they have the PC, the probable cause, they're going to do it anyway, but that's fine. If you say yes, what would happen is you would have given them permission to search the car when they may not have even had the probable cause to make that search constitutionally. It would not be withholding evidence. You don't have to consent. That's not withholding evidence. Not at all. You do not have to consent to any type of search. Your house, your person. Okay? I mean, look what Iggy was telling that story. These cops just ran up on him and started searching him. They must have thought they had probable cause. I don't know. Laws, it's the same, but it's a little different from state to state. That's just something, again, it's when you hear about the SWAT team breaking down a door and running through somebody's house, that's because they have a warrant, okay? They didn't ask to come in. They already had the probable cause. They already had what they needed. If they're asking you, that means they may not be sure that they have the probable cause. So don't help them out. Don't help them out. And don't make, they want to ask you more questions, this and that, ask for an attorney. Don't make any statements. Tell them, look, I may talk to you, but I want to talk to my attorney first. 9 times out of 10, I'm going to tell my client to say no. Rarely does it work out, but I have taken clients and sat down with them, with the police, okay? And it's I've had it work out in their favor, but generally my advice is you don't want to talk.
And that advice is key to making it through the judicial system, period. And that's in all aspects of it, from street life to jail life to life in general. You do not talk. If you get arrested, I mean, literally, unless you plan to go to court and say, I plead guilty, don't talk to the police. There's nothing they can do about it. There's nothing they can do about it. As soon as you say, I want a lawyer, that's it. You'll see the due process is all fucked up in everywhere. They don't read you your rights. I've been arrested 13 times and never ever did they say you have the right to remain silent, And it's supposed to be part of due process. None of that happens, but unless you plan on going to court and saying I plead guilty, don't talk at all. Just say take me to jail. Don't do no telling shit. If you're guilty, go do your time, period. You need to talk on here. You want to talk, need some therapy, come on here and talk. And man, what else I want to say, man? I mean, there's a lot to learn tonight, I even learned some stuff, and I did this so many times. I learned something. All right, I wanted to say, you from McKeesport, Boogs? Oh, no doubt. Much love, too. You know my man, Jimmy Keys? I was up house deal with Jimmy Keys. You know Jimmy Keys, bro? White boy. He's from one of them sides of McKeesport. I don't know. Y'all motherfuckers crazy out there. Oh. Damn, I keep doing it.
You probably did.
Brenda, call that other number.
Fuck, I don't have my phone on right. Is she from Dayton, Ohio?
The A from 10-4. Yeah, that's her. Yep, that's her.
All right.
She's going to pray.
She's going to pray with us?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yep. Guys, we're about to pray. We got Brendan on the line. A lot of people subbed you. I've seen at least 10.
That's awesome.
Brenda, what's up, Sugar Dugger? Let me shout out a couple people for we pray real quick.
Okay.
Bugs, yeah, from 10-4, yeah, he from 10-4. I'm from 10-4 Lawrenceville. He from 10-4 McKeesport. John Smith, good look. Rhonda Herman. Thank you, Rhonda. Good night to you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Much love to you. Much love to you. Much love to you. Much love to you. Caleb, Mass One. John Smith, Treeler. All y'all happy. I appreciate all y'all, Lady B. Hannah Bananas. Love you. Thank you. Jonia J, he is a good ass lawyer. He is a good ass lawyer. See, a lawyer that cares is the best lawyer you can have. A lawyer that cares about your freedom. It's the best lawyer you can have. That wants to do the right thing. You know what I mean? That wants to actually go by the law. And by the law as a lawyer is no matter what. If you're guilty or not, it's to get you the best. It's to get you out of jail, if not the best deal possible. Even if you're guilty. And trust me, you have to tell your lawyer what you're guilty of. If you have an affidavit, you have to trust them and you have to say what you did do. You have to tell them the truth. He's still going to try to get you out of it. I mean, it's crazy that sounds. If you tell me you murdered someone, he's going to try to beat it for you. We got Brenda on the line here. Brenda's going to spit that knowledge.
Okay, honey.
How you doing?
How are you doing, sweet baby?
Oh, I'm just living, living the dream.
Boy, all those that blessed tonight, boy, thank you so much. Oh, Iggy, this is prayer, buddy.
Yes, it is. Thank you. Thank everybody.
You know,
Thank
this
everybody.
is answered prayer. And I'm so grateful.
Me too, Brendan. I'm really grateful. I was surprised super chats. I didn't even know I was turned on until right when we did it, and I hit it by accident. But yeah, you know, I feel blessed. I'm grateful. You know, I got love. I got a lot of love to get back.
And Joe, thank Lawyer Joe, because he was awesome. This is tons of information that you could hear all the questions. They were awesome.
Thank you.
And you did a fabulous job in helping us.
God bless you, Brenda. Thank you. Thanks for calling.
You know, I love it.
I'm glad you enjoyed. I hope it's useful information.
Oh, it's been really good. I mean, this has been one of the best nights. I'm sure everybody else can say the same thing.
Good.
Absolutely.
Good.
Did you want to ask Joe anything before you pray? You can if you want.
Okay. I just want to tell him that I'm going to pray for him.
Hey, no,
Thank you, Brenda.
I really need to ask for legal-wise, but I just like to thank him and blessing all these people that needed these answers.
You're welcome, Brenda. I do like my work, and I love my clients, and I like to help them and do the best I can for all of them.
You can tell.
Hey, Brenda,
Good.
I know we got to get this wrapped up, but Robert Woodford said, can a cop come in your house while you're sleeping without permission? No.
Because what?
If they have a warrant, they can.
If they have a warrant for search your house, yeah. But
Yeah.
he didn't say, he was saying without a warrant. He's saying like knock on the door.
No.
They can't come in.
I can't. There can be probable cause to enter a house without a warrant.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
It's case by case, but you're talking like, let's say they saw somebody would commit, like shoot somebody and then run into a house. Well, there may be some people sleeping in that house. The cops are coming in. Okay. The thing to remember is that your privacy, it's called your right to privacy, right? Your right to privacy is strongest within the home. It's not that strong in a car. Most people think that it is. It's not. And that's because a car, when you drive, you're using the public roadways, and a license is a privilege, not a right. A license is a privilege, not a right. They'll take that away from you in a second. But the car is not as protected as the home. Your person is not as protected as the home. The home is the most protected area, but there are situations where they can enter without a warrant. Generally, they're going to try to get a warrant to search a house, though, because the judges will toss that shit when it comes to a house.
For sure.
Your car, you're on the street, it's a lot harder to beat those.
No, Robert, he just answered it. He just answered it. You must be lagging a little bit. He just answered it. He just answered that whole question. It depends. They gotta have a warrant. It all depends. It all depends. There's a lot to do with that lot.
They can sometimes go in the house without a warrant, especially if they just witnessed a crime. If they just witnessed a crime and an individual goes into the house, or they have reason to believe that the person who committed that crime is in the house, we're talking like a felony, even a misdemeanor. I mean, it's none of these things are absolute, but I can tell you, judges. A judge is more likely to help you out on a search of a house. They respect it to a certain degree, more so than the car.
Okay, guys, because Joe has to go. Listen, we'll bring him back whenever you guys request him to come back. We'll come do this again. I'll make sure he's free. We'll bring him back on. We'll ask him all. Everyone can save your questions. Write them down. Basolzi, I know San Diego just made that completely illegal for homeless people to sleep in their van. I'm not saying you said you were homeless, but you can't sleep in your car in San Diego no more if you're homeless. You're not allowed. They just passed that law today. But everything else we'll answer on the next stream with Joe. Go ahead, Brenda, do your thing. We're gonna wrap this up with a prayer right now, guys. About to wrap this up.
Alrighty. Here we go.
Yeah, here we go, baby.
Okay, my babies. I love all my peoples out there. Thank you to all the mods tonight. You're awesome. Father, I just want to give you glory and praise, number one. There's many of people out here, Father, that have legality issues and don't even get an opportunity like this to have the help like you've given tonight. Lord, I thank you for Joe. I thank you, Father, for what you have in store for his business and his calling. I plead your blood over his life. I plead your blood over his lawyership, Father God. Walk him into the right doors, Lord, and shut the doors you don't want him entering. I pray your hedge of protection about him and his family. Father, I thank you for the many blessings tonight that those that gave. Some that could only give a couple dollars, but Lord, that $2 is going to go far because we've asked of you to help. Now, Father, I thank you so much. And I pray for each and every person out there going through some sort of lawyer problem or illegality, that, Father, they don't give up, that they've been opened a door through Mr. Joe here to get an appropriate attorney. Now, Father, we just pray that you call that attorney out for those that are struggling, that are maybe in other states, that don't have this opportunity with Mr. Joe. So, Father, I just pray right now, I believe you hear us. I thank you that you hear us. We're all agreeing together as one family here, Father, that these young men and women that are in need right now are going to have their desires met in the courts. Now, Father, I also pray for every financial need. I heard little Lady B say that she can barely take care of herself. I get that. Now, Father, you do too. So, Father, I pray that you open up the windows of heaven and pour out a blessing that each of these people can't even contain. That good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. Lord, I thank you for this time with Iggy. I thank you this time with Mr. Joe and the Iggy family. Go forth in his name. Be still and know that he is the Lord. He's going to work all things that are called according to his purpose. And if you're breathing, walking on this earth, you're called according. So, Father, I thank you for this hour. In your mighty, precious name, amen.
Amen. Amen.
Amen, Brenda. Thank
Love
you.
you, Brenda.
I love you too, my Iggy son.
Thank you.
Iggy Jiggy,
Huh?
you the man.
Yeah, I was thinking about that, getting jiggy instead of the Iggy family, getting Iggy with it family. We get Iggy with it.
Hey, I'm in. I think it works.
We coming up. You said I'm coming over there to see. What you said you had some stuff over there in Ohio to build or something, right?
What's that?
You said over there in Ohio you had something to build, like stuff to build for bugging out.
Oh, yes. Oh, the bugging out is important, people. Get your stuff. Get your water. I'm going to give you a little helpful tip. If you don't have candles, take Vaseline, put a gauze ball in it, get it good and saturated, leave you a little tufted out, light it. That thing will last you hours. Next thing, fingernail polish. Dump the polish out, clean the bottle out, put a little foil in it, get you a little wickie, put your regular vegetable oil in it. That thing will give you at least 18 to 30 some hours worth of burning. Better than the ones you buy at store. You want to get your water ready. Go and get that chlorinated, what's it called, for the pills to help the water keep it non-contaminated in case we get lights out. Okay? The things you need the most: fire, food, and shelter. So get every kind of fire thing that you can imagine. I've got stuff that even if it's pouring down rain and snow, and this stuff's going to light. I have medical supplies. I've been talking with precious little Shanann, because she lives in Kentucky, and me coming up there and checking out an area because I need to get some of this stuff in the ground. I'm talking big wood stoves, medical supplies, food supplies, tents, blankets, clothing, shoes, things to do composting with. I'm ready to roll. I just need me a little ground. Hey, Joe, what kind of property do you have? Can I come on over and start building?
I got a duplex. I got a little area in the back.
Hey, you got a couple trees? We're good to go.
Yeah, I got some trees. Absolutely. Come on over.
You're too cute for school. I wish I was as young as you.
I don't discriminate based on age. I don't.
Oh, I like that even better.
Hey, come on over, Brenda.
I'm 1 foot in the grave and the other on a banana peel, but honey, we got a housing.
I don't know. You sound like you're 25, Brenda.
Yeah, I know. You look even younger than 25. What you talking about?
You sound 25.
I'm as cute as 25 already.
I bet. Absolutely.
Shayna, where the hell you been, Shayna?
Guys.
Love you too. Thank you, Brenda.
I love it. Hey, Iggy, if you had a clone and I was into clones, I would jump it. Really jump it, because I might hurt you.
Ain't no doubt. I hear you. I might.
I love y'all. Joe, you have sweet sleep, young man.
Thank you, Brenda.
And I want you to watch this week, Joe, because the Lord is going to start showing you some things that you've been wanting to do, and the doors are going to open for you. And what's so neat is that the very thing that you've been making a decision, and you've been thinking about something, and you weren't sure to tip your toe into it. You're to go. You're to do it. This opening tonight for you, you better get a couple more secretaries. You better get a couple more paralegals.
I hope so.
Need it.
Thank you, Brenda, and it's all thanks to Iggy. He's helping me out.
No,
I'm happy.
Wait. No, the Lord.
Absolutely.
Iggy knows.
Absolutely.
When Brenda Sue prays.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. The Lord Jesus Christ.
When I pray, I believe, and I know when the Lord sends a good word and a great man along to give advice that is godly, sound, and of true advice. He's got a good plan for you, my brother, and you better get ready to be busting out the seams, because when we prayed tonight, we asked him to close the doors he doesn't want you walking in, and opening those doors you are going to go through, and you're going to do well, beyond well. Get ready, saddle up, because you're going to have a fun ride.
Thank you, Brenda. Amen. God bless you. I appreciate it.
I receive it, and I love you, my Iggy baby.
I love you too, and you're right. He's going to have a successful career. He's just hitting the ground. He got about 6 years in. He's going to have a good career for sure.
Oh, see, this is beautiful. This is a great time, then. This is a great opening for him.
Thank you, Brenda. And I can't thank Iggy enough. And I thank the Lord
I want
too.
I want to hear the praise report. I want to hear the praise report on the calls you're going to be getting. And the lovely thing is, you're not going to get any more than you can handle, but no less than what he wants coming in your door.
Sounds good to me.
So get ready open your wallet up, get ready, because every person you've blessed without charging them dollars or charging them so far out the wazoo, it's going to come back 100-fold, my brother. Watch and see. Look at your wallet. Get ready when you get home and go to bed. Open it up and say, Lord, I thank you, because those things that I've been planning are going to come to fruition. Bottom line, praise his name. It's coming, my brother. It's coming.
I know it will. Thank you. Thank you.
Ask Iggy when we pray, and Mama prays over stuff. What happens, Iggy?
Yes, indeed. They get answered. They get answered every time.
It is. Every time.
Every time.
I got to tell you, let me tell Joe a little story here.
Okay, I'm going to go after this story. I'm pretty tired. But go ahead.
Okay, I'm going to make it real fast.
Okay.
I was out one night, and I don't know why the Lord had me go out. I needed to go get something. It was 11 o'clock at night. I live in an area that that's bad to be out. But I knew the Lord was calling me out there for somebody or something. By the time the whole thing was done, this little man that the Lord had me out there for, his life was a mess. And he was fighting with his girlfriend to beat her up and da-da-da-da. By the time it all got done said, and he wanted to hurt me. But I didn't bow. I said, no, you've got a plan, young man. And by the time I got done what I was doing and coming back down the road, he came running towards me, dropped and started crying, told his story, and said, this is a miracle that someone even cares to stop. And it changed this young man's life. Because once you have that 1 ounce, it says a mustard seed. You can't even see a mustard seed without a magnifying glass. So in this hour that you're being poured upon and you're pouring out that holy joy oil of God in helping others, it comes back 100-fold. And you will see this because by tomorrow you're going to start seeing some really neat things, and you're going to know, don't just thank Iggy, you better thank the Father above. Because he's had many miracles walk into my life, and I didn't know why. But by the time it was over with, it's stunning to see his hand work in so many ways. And all those people out there listening tonight, all 28 or 48 of us, let me tell you, he's got a plan for each of us. We're going through the hour we're going through for one reason and one reason only. He's getting us prepared. He's warning us. And we all see it in the signs of the times. So when others can't have financially, God's going to open a window and pour it out for us. You just got to have that faith. So good night, my lovely family. Thank you for listening to me, Joe. I appreciate it. And blessings to all of you.
Absolutely,
Night,
Brenda.
lover.
Thank you. Amen.
Thank you, Brenda. Amen. I might go live when I get home again. Much love. I'll talk to you.
Okay, baby.
All right.
I'll be here.
Alrighty. Bye-bye. Good night. Good night.
Iggy got more longevity than I do.
I
Friend.
don't know. Iggy has more longevity than all of us, honey. He's like a
I gotcha. I'm usually in bed by midnight, so. All right.
Oh, hello.
Brenda said good night, guys.
Thank you, sir.
You're
Bye,
welcome,
baby.
Brenda. Bye-bye.
Bye, Brenda.
You too,
Love you.
baby.
Brenda said good night, everybody. Everyone said good night. And they love you. Thank you for the prayer.
I love you all too.
All right. Good
Bye-bye.
night.
She won't stop.
Okay.
All right, guys. We're gonna wrap it up. So, more of the story is, if you ain't learned nothing, press rewind from the beginning and watch it all again. If you wasn't listening, if you're talking in chat or something. Otherwise, I know you learned something. And yeah, Johnny, I'll be peeling them back. Hey, yo, Joey, young pimp out here though. You see him with the towel? And so sorry to hear about your mother. I gotta wrap this up because my boy gotta go to sleep. Sorry to hear about your mama. Pray for you, seriously. And Soulsy, I'm sorry for what you're going through. I'll pray for you also tonight. Much love to everybody, man. Much love to all you guys.
I just want to say thank you to Iggy's audience. I want to say thank you to Iggy. He's been awesome. As soon as we started talking, I knew there was a connection there. You know, we're both from Pittsburgh, and I'm very lucky and blessed to have him, you know, allow me to be on his show. So find me, Joe Palmetto Law Show, or you can even find me on Facebook. It's Joe Palmetto Law. And feel free to message me through YouTube or through Facebook. You know, like my page, you can send me a message.
Mods, if you want to drop his channel in again. And
They did a lot.
And Revel, welcome Revel. We're about to wrap this up. I'll see you guys when I get home. All right, I'm probably gonna go live again. Much love. See you in a little bit. Iggy MB579.